College football podcast with Herbie and Pollack. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Exclusively on ESPN Plus, UFC 255, Saturday, featuring 2 title fights. The flyweight championships are on the line as Davison Figueiredo defends his belt against Alex Perez and Valentina Shevchenko takes on Jennifer Maia.
Titles are going to be on the line. It is going to be a fantastic night.
Another outstanding showcase for the UFC's flyweight division.
UFC 255, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV. The prelims start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 and the ESPN app. Spain and Fitz.
It's just wild to kind of imagine the idea of them taking Tua and then immediately trading and taking Trevor instead. If that's something they're thinking about, of course you prioritize that over wanting to do what this year exactly. Of course it's exciting for the Dolphins and in that division with the Patriots not being the big bad monster. But what exactly do you expect this Dolphins team to do if they make the playoffs?
Spain and Fitz. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on your smart speaker or wherever you
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Well, we had a few days off, and we are back at it. Happy Monday.
Here.
How's your weekend?
Very good. Very good.
You asked me how mine was?
Well, you guys on the score 10 points.
W's a W, baby. And it was technically 17-7.
Oh, goodness.
It was technically 17-7. The Browns won. But a W's a W. And by the way, in those weather conditions, I'll take that all day. You had 2 running backs rush for over 100 yards.
What was the score?
10-7.
Tell that to Las Vegas.
I'm fine with that. And by the way, I'm going to get into that. I still think there's a thing. Look, there's so many athletes that when you talk to, they honestly cannot stand the fantasy sports world. Like sometimes I think in situations like that, I wouldn't put it past Nick Chubb to have thought in the back of his head, yeah, screw all you people out there trying to make millions of dollars off me. And it would not surprise me at all. But like athletes hate that. Mm-hmm. They hate, like, especially if they have a bad game, the last thing that they want to hear about afterwards is like, okay, you have your normal fan hate that if you have a bad game, you have to deal with
the actual game,
the actual fan hate of that. But now you got to deal not just with fan hate because you didn't play well. Now you got to deal with the fan hate of, the fantasy fan hate. And I think that irks, the players even more because they're like, I'm not playing for your fantasy team. I'm playing for me. I'm playing them. But well, okay, sorry about that. I'm playing for me. So the better stats I have, the more yards I have, the more touchdowns I have, the more wins we have. That means more money for me down the road.
Right.
I didn't score that touchdown so you could win your fantasy league. I didn't score that touchdown so that you could win your eliminator league or whatever it is. All right. So it amazes me when fans just rip these athletes for those purposes right there because those guys don't care. So if they have a shot where they can maybe kind of give a little middle finger back to some of the fans out there who are trying to make money off them, it wasn't. And I mean, he just had a 100-yard game. Mm-hmm. They just got the W. 6-3 now is their record on the season. And, 2 running backs. And I mean, that was a great decision by Nick Chubb, by the way, at the end to just kind of give a middle finger to all those out there trying to make money off them. But that's honestly not why he did it. I didn't really care one way or another. I thought it was kind of dopey. Just take the points, get the points. But, it is what it is. It's, they finally make a smart play for once and people are losing their minds. It's just hilarious. It's it's 2020. The Browns do something smart and they get ripped for it.
Kenner breaks away on that run. Nothing but green grass ahead. The end zone is right there. Does Kenner go out of bounds? Does Kenner slide? Does Kenner score?
You remember that Buckeye-Michigan game?
Which one?
When he just goes diving into the end zone?
Yeah.
And that's me.
Yeah.
Every time. Up by 100, down by 100. When Kenner scores, he's going to let you know about it.
I feel you. I'm the same way, man. I would have scored, dude. Like, look, man, you don't get that many opportunities to break away and basically ice a game. Yes, I know that technically Texans would have got the ball back and everything like that. I would have scored. I have a story Wright State days. I was playing intramural football and I got an interception in the end zone and I ran it out and only got back to like the 10, and everybody screaming at me like, man, you should have downed it. And my best friend Reg was like, I was trying to block for you, dog. Take it to the house. Interception end zone. Always bring it out. And like that's what I was taught. From not maybe from my coaches, but like from my brother and everybody that taught me how to play football. You get an interception, you try to take it back to the house no matter where you are.
Yeah, I had no issue with it. I love that that was, Chubb's mindset was, I'm going to get every yard possible. I'm going to continue to add every yard possible to my total yardage on the day. But he decided not to take the touchdown, which whatever. The Browns get a win. And I would rather look like the Browns yesterday and come away with the W than look like the Bengals, who, by the way, to be fair, the Bengals looked exactly like the Browns did just a few weeks ago against the Steelers, which is why I enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it for the reasons of Bengals fans, as obnoxious as I am, I find you just as obnoxious. All the smack that was talked about how the Browns looked against the Steelers a few weeks ago, they looked like that, but even worse, because their coach is a moron.
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying. Now, you have to agree with this. Forget the fact that, of course, it's about kind of taking jabs at the Bengals for me all the time, which people get, they love that. If you have an investment in Joe Burrow, he is your investment. He is your franchise quarterback. He is everything to you and your franchise moving forward. If in a game that was out of reach and he comes up hobbling, do you overreact and take him out, or do you continue to keep him out there to get pummeled? Now, he only got sacked 4 times. Our guy Shaw, he's real sensitive lately, and he's been calling me a troll because if I say anything bad about his team, I'm automatically a troll. I'm going to say something nice here. The offensive line has actually looked better over these last couple of weeks.
I agree.
That offensive line, this is why when the Bengals lose games now, you can no longer use the offensive line as an excuse because they've improved. The defense is just bad, and the coaching is just bad. So that offense, he got sacked 4 times yesterday. That offensive line's not great, but it's not as bad as what they like to make it out to be. It's bad when they want to make excuses for why they lose, but it's good enough for them to be able to say, well, we're just as good as this team, yada, yada. But the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday, it wasn't a Joe Burrow problem. Joe Burrow looked, deer in the headlights look. I agree with that. I saw a lot of comparisons to that. He looked like a rookie yesterday. That's what happens when you play real defenses, not the Titans defense. When you play a real defense like the Steelers, they make a lot of quarterbacks look like that. They made Lamar Jackson the MVP of last year's NFL season. They made him look like that. That's how good the Steelers defense is. But when you have an investment that you are not even playing for the playoffs this year, you're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to win enough games. You got to protect. You know that your offensive line's kind of shoddy. You know that you have a team in the Steelers that is just going to destroy you every chance that they get. TJ Watt said after the game, and this is exactly what my point was to you in the weeks leading into these types of games, whether it's against the Browns or the Bengals. When the Steelers have a young quarterback that they're going up against, they're trying to remind them just who the hell they are. Like, hey, you're new to this league. Let me just remind you who we are here in this league. They get amped up for the division. You should always get amped up for the division, but they seem to take it up a notch when they go up against the Lamar Jacksons, the Baker Mayfields, and now the Joe Burrows. And we saw that yesterday. And TJ Watt said that. He said that was his way of welcoming him in, to the league. And that's exactly what my point was about how the Steelers just seem, they always seem to bring it each week. They kind of toyed with disaster against the Cowboys last week, but they always seem to bring it. And they seem to just take it up a notch against division foes. And they did that against Joe Burrow. So they were going to try. I'm not saying they were trying to hurt him. Of course, people talk about the cheap shot, but they are going to hurt him. They are going to try to just annihilate him.
Cheap shot.
Yeah, he got it. They shoved him into the bench. You haven't seen that video floating all over social media. I don't even know the defensive back that did it.
It's the NFL.
Huh?
It's the NFL.
Okay.
It's a cheap shot.
I don't care. Remember, I'm a Bengals troll according to some. So I'm not getting all panicky about it. But Burrow's hobbling. Can't put all his weight on his ankle, and Zach Taylor keeps him in. Why would you do that? The game's out of reach. It's not like it's a tie game and he's hobbling and I'm saying to take him out. The game's out of reach. It's over. On to next week. It's over. Why is he still out there? Everyone, and then he does the fake punt at the end. Zach Taylor just looked like an absolute fool yesterday. And then I'm getting so tired as we are 10 weeks into the season. I'm tired of hearing the goody boy quotes from Joe Burrow. I'm not a quitter. I didn't want to be taken out. I'm not a quitter. Would you have looked at Joe Burrow as a quitter had he been taken out of that game?
No.
Apparently I'm a Bengals troll. So apparently many think that I would think that. No. It would have been good business to take him out. It would have been good business to keep him out of a game that you don't have a shot to win at this point. Don't leave him in against the Steelers defense that's going to continue to try to take you out. It's good business to do that. I'm tired of hearing these quotes that, man, Joe Burrow, he just gets it, man. You hear him, he says he's not a quitter. He wants to continue to be out there. The teammates wouldn't have respected you less. They would know that, yeah, we kind of suck.
Well, what do you want him to say?
I'm just tired of it. It's just annoying. Not really him. It's not him. He's saying all the right things, Kev, but it's the drooling of the Cincinnati media and the fans of, oh, did you hear what he said? You know, you haven't had any friends that you just see that they're in love. Like, not like, oh, they're kind of feeling this girl. They love this girl. That's what Bengals fans are right now. They're not just feeling it. They're like, oh, man, she's so great. Just so great. I mean, like, they're just drooling in love. So everything he says nothing wrong. I'm not even ripping him. I'm ripping the situation of the reaction to it. Like, he should not, like, it's not up to him. He should not have been in that game, Kev.
Right. Yeah. It's up to the coaches to protect the players in a situation like that. I necessarily didn't have a big problem with it. I had a problem with them actually trying to drop back to pass them after the game was basically over. If you just want to, leave him in there and hand it off and get the game over with, fine. I did have a little issue with him being in the game when it's totally out of reach. And this is basically, I was rooting to get the 5 sacks that I predicted they would get.
So 4.
Yeah, the 4. We're short. Step it up, guys. But that's the thing about it. I wasn't rooting for him to get hurt or anything like that. But run the ball, get the game over with. There is no 20-point play in the NFL. So just get the game over with. You're not at that point. You're not getting any reps to say like, "Are these reps are gonna make you a better football player?" You know what I'm saying? So, you can stretch that in like the Ravens game, the first Ravens matchup where it was, they got blew out, but it wasn't like, oh man, the score is just like how it was yesterday where there's no way you can come back. Like those reps versus the Ravens were meaningful. These reps versus Steelers, once the game got past a 30-point lead, they're meaningless. So just run the ball, run screens, runs draws, just to keep the clock moving.
Yeah, and again, and Joe Burrow finished the day 21 of 40. I mean, he dropped back 40 times against that Steelers defense. And to be fair to Joe Burrow, like I was all for the Browns game plan of, for one, they like to limit how much Baker Mayfield drops back, and I don't blame him. But that's worked. He doesn't turn the ball over like he used to. He turns the ball over, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't turn it over at the clip. But my problem with Baker Mayfield is he hasn't thrown a touchdown since the Bengals game 3 weeks ago. He has not thrown a touchdown in 3 weeks. So that's the problem I have with Baker Mayfield right now, which we'll get into that coming up here in just a moment. No, he hasn't.
That's not fair. It's totally unfair.
You hear that, Bengals fans?
That's unfair. What was it? The Raiders game was a windstorm, a bye week, and another windstorm. Like,
oh no, that's no excuse because to be honest, Joe Burrow looked okay in the first quarter throwing in the wind. The wind was a problem. Like, see, there were so many things working against Joe Burrow that this is why I get mad at Zach Taylor. I like Joe Burrow. He's a really good quarterback, but why aren't you protecting him? Like I tweeted this out earlier today. It doesn't matter if you go out and get the Bengals the best offensive line in football. The best offensive line in football cannot protect Joe Burrow from stupid coaching. And that's what they got yesterday. Really bad windstorm. Let's drop him back 40 times. Best pass rush defense in the NFL? Let's drop him back 40 times. The game's out of reach. Yes, you got to pass to get back into a game, but let's be realistic here. It's one thing to have the I think I can mindset, but we all know you can't. We know you can't. We know you can't. Reality. That's the bottom line. So continuing to your point, continuing to drop him back in a game that you just knew it wasn't going to happen, which is fine. This team is not set up to make the playoffs or win a Super Bowl, so I wasn't expecting them to beat the Steelers. I was semi-excited to see how they were going to attack the Steelers. And by the way, the Steelers, I don't know if you knew this, they had like 3 or 4 possessions in the first 5 minutes of the game. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. It was and the Bengals made a lot of mental mistakes early. Look, I'm not beating up on the Bengals right now. It's Zach Taylor, the coach, that I have a problem with right now because I don't feel like he's putting them in a good position. It's not even about wins anymore. They actually looked better. The Bengals looked better moving the ball against the Steelers defense than Baker Mayfield did. And Baker Mayfield has a better offensive line, had OBJ and had more weapons. And Burrow at times looked more comfortable against the Steelers defense than Baker did. Okay. That's why I get annoyed and so irritated with Zach Taylor, is because I feel like he's so close to having something to work with here. And by the way, I love the connection between Burrow and T. Higgins. Absolutely love it. We have got to stop focusing on AJ Green. They have got to move him or just stop playing him. Like this love affair. It's not even a love affair. I mean, I get it. He's a fan favorite, and that's tough. But we've got to stop focusing on, oh man, we're still not getting contributions from AJ Green. You're not. The new duo for this team is T. Higgins and Boyd.
Right.
That trio right there, and Mixon. Moving forward, the new, the core of your offense is going to be centered around Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon. You paid Mixon big money in the offseason. He's a part of the core moving forward, which is fine. I don't know how much of a difference he would have made against the Steelers, but you can't say, he would have made some kind of difference. Who knows what it is? By the way, I had picked up Giovanni Bernard on my fantasy team. So I was like really excited about the wind. I was really excited about the pass rush because I'm like, clearly any smart coach is just going to continue to hand it off and hand it off and hand it off. Nope. Now, luckily my team won anyways, but I was just really counting on that. But no, the bottom line is I know I love to take my shots at the Bengals when I can, but like Joe Burrow looks the part. And his numbers weren't good yesterday. It's 21 of 40. But I put that on coaching. You alluded to it. It was about why are you continuing to drop him back? Why are you trying to get him killed in a game that's out of reach against a dangerous team like the Steelers? This isn't like the Titans. If you were down big against the Titans, who had a soft defense that you just felt, hey, this defense is soft. We're down big, but, we really could come back if we just keep attacking because this defense isn't good. You weren't going to come back against the Steelers. And I would not have judged them for having that mindset and going to the bench, at the halfway point of the fourth quarter, but to continue to keep him out there. Bengals fans, sometimes you got to realize I'm not always hating. Sometimes I'm actually pulling for what you're pulling for, and that's for your quarterback to remain in one piece for the year. He was hobbled. And you're lucky, Bengals fans, that it's week 10, and this is the first time we've seen him hobbled. We haven't seen him look beat up at all. This is the first time we've seen him hobbled. That's a win in itself, all things considered.
One of the other things about the Bengals, the way they're running their offense now is because they don't have any tight ends. I mean, technically they do have a tight end. I believe his name is Sample or something like that. But they're down. You know what I'm saying? The first two guys are on the IR this year. Your starter and backup are on the IR. The guy that I can't pronounce his name. Don't give me the line. But he had a pretty good game against the Bengals. The Browns in the first matchup. So they're basically without a tight end. So that's why they're out there in a lot of 4 receiver sets.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason they can actually move the ball through the passing game. But yeah, you're right. Like once the game is out of reach and everything like that, you can have them out there. But screens, smoke screens, draws, let's keep this clock rolling. Let's get about a dodge. That's the only thing I was watching for, and to see if my Steelers could get that 5th sack.
Yeah. And they
let me down.
I was impressed with the amount of time at times that Burrow had in that pocket.
Yeah.
And they had that one scoring drive in the early going. And that's, football's weird. I mean, all sports are weird. Sometimes you'll have that one drive, that one series, that one whatever, where you move down the field. Of course, the receiver was wide the heck open. I mean, everyone's like, what a throw. I'm like, he was wide open. Like Baker on his worst day can complete that pass. Now, if it was a Browns receiver, probably would have dropped it, but that's an argument for later. But like that drive down the field which he connected with T. Higgins in the end zone, I thought, okay, maybe that's enough of a spark right there to give him the confidence to feel like they can compete. But I feel like after they scored, Kev, it's like they got worse after that. Like they didn't build on that. That's what was frustrating for me. I did not expect them to beat the Steelers, but I did maybe expect after that drive, that scoring drive, that got them back in it, where you could look at it and say, oh man, they might be able to kind of threaten them a little bit, but that wasn't the case.
Well, the thing about what they did defensively was actually smart. They basically loaded the box and challenged the wide receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat them one-on-one, and they did that because the Steelers were unable to run the ball at all, because that's how they tried to start off the game.
Bring that up, yep.
Try to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. Like Ben hasn't been at practice all week, so let's just try to run the ball. The Bengals have a shoddy run defense. Let's get our run game on track. And the Steelers couldn't run the ball, to the Bengals' credit, for shutting them down. So they had to go to the quick passing game. And, when you get players like Deontay Johnson one-on-one and in space, he's a very shifty player. and he was able to get open on 27 a lot. Like they were basically targeting number 27 for the Bengals a ton. Like they would shift into motion to get Juju on him, or to shift to get Claypool on him, or even had Ebron on him. Like they were attacking him. So they found a weakness in the Bengals defense in number 27 and exploited it all game long because, to the Bengals' credit, they shut down the run game.
All right, so we opened up with the course reaction to the Cincinnati Bengals lost to the Steelers yesterday, 36-10. Bengals fans, I want to hear from you on the other side of this because I want to continue this conversation. We're going to get into the Browns side of things here in just a moment. But what were your takeaways? What were your biggest takeaways from this Steelers game? Because, again, I know a lot of people, we were toying with the idea of the Bengals being the upset pick of the week. And I was like, look, I can see why the bye week. I mean, that's the other thing, too, about Zach Taylor. That's the best you can come up with the bye week. You had momentum after beating the Titans. All right. You had the momentum after beating the Titans. You had 2 weeks to prepare for the Steelers, and that's the best you have. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. But on top of that, you mentioned how they slowed down the run game. I mean, they held Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's, they pound it. They're going to punch you in the mouth. Mm-hmm. They rushed for 44 total yards. That's it. Yep. James Conner had 13 carries for 36 yards. That's it. They had no scores on the ground. They won 36-10. No scores came in the ground. They made Big Ben look like, prime Big Ben. All right. I mean, he threw for 333 yards, 27-46, 4 touchdowns. I mean, Big Ben had a big game yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals. But were there enough positives for you to feel good about the direction of the Bengals, or did this make you feel like you took a step back after the big win you guys had against the Titans? 457-9464. That's the number to call in to join in on the conversation. Plus, you can tune into the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show and leave your takeaways in the comment section. Already a lot already piling up. We'll get to those reactions when we come back. Plus, I have a new 30 for 30. Uh-oh. And it's not Browns related. It's not Bengals related. It's the Gem City Jam edition of the ESPN 30 for 30. So we have that coming up at 4 o'clock. My newest 30 for 30. I worked hard on this one. I'm excited for this one. My newest. I don't know if you want to put your name on it. You can put your name. I don't know. You haven't heard it yet.
I haven't heard it yet.
You haven't
heard
it
yet first.
All right. So
I want to hear it with everybody. I don't want to hear it behind the scenes. I want to hear it with everybody.
You'll get to, that's my ears are the only ones that have heard this masterpiece, and I cannot wait. ESPN's 30 for 30, the Gem City Jam edition.
Are we going to get in trouble?
You say we. If you put your name on it, maybe for you, but we'll find out. Now, that's coming up around the corner. But Bengals fans, let's hear from you. 457-9464, your reaction, your takeaways. Do you feel good about yesterday's matchup, or do you feel you took a step back? We'll get to that next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks. $29.99 each year, 4 pounds of freaking chicken chunks. You get the 4 sauces too. You get the 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. Freaking chicken chunks.
Bring in the season with 4 pounds of freaking chicken chunks. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 freaking bonus bucks free. The ho home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is Frickers.
Freaking chicken chunks, 4 sauces too. Freaking chicken chunks, 4 freaking pounds. Chicken chunks.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
The holidays and driving go hand in hand, but cold weather and batteries don't. Make sure your vehicle's battery is winter ready with free testing at Advance Auto Parts. If it needs to be replaced, we have die-hard batteries that are reliable, durable, and powerful enough to get you through every road trip. Plus, we'll even install it free with purchase. No appointment necessary. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. Most vehicles, most locations. See store for details.
It's auction time again in North Lima, Ohio with home improvement products and building materials, and it's all online, ending this Tuesday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products online. Kitchens, flooring, Anderson windows and doors, decking, unclaimed freight, and more, all sold online at pbauctions.com. Auction ends this Tuesday at noon, so we'll see you online at the auction.
The need has always been there. The need for food, shelter, compassion. This year, it just happens to be greater. If you need help, please reach out. If you can give help, please reach within. In a year with fewer red kettles, your $25 monthly donation helps rescue Christmas for the most vulnerable. Enlist in Love's Army at givewestwood.org.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Available at Pet Boys.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle, with options like blind spot assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Now with IRS Section 179, businesses can be eligible for up to a $25,900 tax deduction. That's up to $5,439 in tax savings.
Options and model availability may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment described is optional. $5,439 tax savings based on 21% federal tax rate and eligibility to claim full $25,900 Section 179 vehicle deduction. Your tax rate and eligibility may vary. Consult your tax advisor for more information. Limits may apply. Visit nbvans.com. Offer valid through December 31st, 2020.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Regular changes are the best way to keep your engine running smooth. We'll help you find the right oil for your make and model and everything to help you finish the job right, like drain pans, filters, and funnels. And we've got more ways to get it all fast, like our next day delivery and our free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. You instantly get a list of quality candidates from Indeed's resume database the moment you sponsor a job. Get started at Indeed.com/credit.
NFL fans, the season is finally here. Get your picks submitted at wingam.com. Click on contest and enter the Pro Football Challenge. Weekly winners will win $20 in Frickers Fun Bucks. Get to wingam.com and get your NFL picks submitted now.
Touchdown! Incredible!
Good luck. college football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Flyers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM. Let's open up the phone lines now at 457-9464. Of course, we opened up with reaction to the Bengals' loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, let's be honest, we all expected that. I know last week we had a little cute conversation back and forth about the idea of the Bengals being that upset pick for Week 10, which, to be fair, a week after the Steelers look vulnerable against the Cowboys, and you have an offense that's better than way better than the Cowboys' offense. I mean, again, I know we talk about the flaws of the Bengals' offense, but let's be clear. I'll take the Bengals' offense over what the Cowboys' offense looks like right now, and that they have Zeke, and I don't care about Zeke. I don't care about that Cowboys' offense. So I thought there was enough there to maybe, if the Steelers come out a little, hesitant like they did against the Cowboys for the Bengals to pounce on them. But it wasn't the talent that got in their way. It was coaching, in my opinion, and that seems to be the main reaction. Look, Cincinnati media is about as soft as it gets on this team. I mean, they could be 0-16, and that media is just going to be so proud of the effort and the fight of the Cincinnati Bengals. And I bring that up because, man, Lance McAllister and Mo Egger, everyone over in Cincinnati, they were all just absolutely furious with Zach Taylor. And I bring that up because when that media over there, they're bashing Zach Taylor and calling him out, and that's fine, but I'm a troll if I do it over here, which is fair, which is fine. I get it. Shaw has bad days and he gets upset, and he sheds a tear here and there because of his Bengals. He says he's not a Bengals fan, but I mean, he cries about me talking about the Bengals more than Bengals fans do. So it's unreal as far as that goes.
Who's his team if he isn't a Bengals?
I have no idea. It's whatever team that I'm talking bad about, he likes to defend that team for whatever reason. I have no clue. No clue why. But some NFL news here as we shift over towards the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have shut down their facility as another player tests positive for COVID-19. Now, keep in mind, this is how last week started with the news to start the week. Of course, Baker Mayfield was put on the COVID restricted list as, of course, he was a part of the contact tracing. And they were going through that. Of course, he was cleared and back out on the field and practicing by Wednesday, and he was good to go. And you could argue about whether he was good to go yesterday or not. Again, the Cleveland Browns come away with a 10-7, very boring win. But how about that? I mean, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, 19 carries apiece. Nick Chubb, 126 yards. And I don't even remember how long what was that last run?
I want to say it was like a 60-plus yarder.
So he literally, it needed that run to get into the 100-yard range, but he got into the 100-yard range, and that's all that matters. 2 rushers for over 100 yards. Kareem Hunt as a featured back is good enough to get you by in his absence, but let's be clear as far as that goes, like he really does need that. He needs the 1-2 punch. Him a part of that 1-2 punch between Chubb and Hunt. That really takes the Browns to another level. And I saw that yesterday. Now, again, Texans, not a great football team. I completely get that. But the thing is, as we've talked about, you may have bad teams on your schedule. You got to beat those bad teams.
Right.
Wins aren't guaranteed in the NFL because if the Browns would have lost to that team, we would have absolutely ripped them. And then when they beat those bad teams and we say, yeah, well, you haven't beaten anybody. So where's that fine line? Where's that middle ground where we can say, good job by the Browns? I know, but we can't. Well, I can. You'll go there. But haters can't. Sean, those guys can't. Like, they can't go there. Like, no matter what they do, it's because, if they win 10-7, wow, you only won 10-7 over a bad Texans team. If they win 100-0, oh, well, I mean, the Texans are bad, so don't be too excited about that. Like when they beat a bad Bengals team and Baker throws for 5 touchdowns and he has his best game of the season. They hate Baker so much that they were willing to crap on their own team and say, yeah, well, we suck, so that means nothing, right? But then every other day, every other week of the season, it's, man, we're close. It is what it is. But
this is the NFL, man. You got to be happy with the victories, no matter how ugly they are, because it's just like you said, if it was vice versa, they'd have lost that game looking like that, it would have been basically the same thing as we talked about when they lost to the Raiders. So you find a way to win a game in a windstorm. Me being from Cleveland, I know how that wind hits off the lake. Matter of fact, we were getting a lot of that wind down here in Dayton, and I was looking at my fence in my backyard, praying to goodness that it didn't fall over.
And you're from up north. Did your power go out?
No. We were good.
Flyers power went out.
Oh, that sucks. My mom's power went out in Cleveland, but it kicked back on by halftime. But yeah, dealing in the windstorms and everything like that, it's a brutal situation to be in as a football team. And you got to think that the coaching staff for the Browns learned a valuable lesson about their team and how to play football in a windstorm in Northeast Ohio, And the first game versus the Raiders, they tried to really pass the ball a little bit in the first half, and then they try to go to the running game. But basically, they just stuck to the run game, and then you saw those big run plays start to pop. Those 3-yard runs in the first quarter popped into a 60-yarder to ice the game at the end of the game.
Yeah, and again, that's that 1-2 punch of just, between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb just wearing down that defense. That Texans team not very good, but, for everyone out there, Baker Mayfield, he looked horrible. Well, Deshaun Watson's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he looked the exact same way. Weather was the ultimate equalizer yesterday, and to be honest, Baker and Deshaun looked fairly even in that matchup as far as that goes. So when you look at the Browns yesterday, I'm not going to focus on Baker's numbers of 12 of 20 for only 132 yards, and he didn't turn the ball over. He was only sacked once. He did not throw a touchdown. What the narrative of yesterday's game is this, Kev. Smart coaching.
Yeah.
Like the narrative of the Bengals game was not people expecting the Bengals to win. It was, okay, let's just see that's the standard. Like the Steelers are, they're the standard in the league of who you want to compare yourself to, where they are, where you are, you find out just how close you are. The Bengals yesterday, based on coaching, found out they're a lot further away than they actually thought they were. The Browns found out that as good as they are this year, they're still way further away than they actually thought that they were. The Steelers have a habit of doing that to you. Mm-hmm. But yesterday, the narrative wasn't about, for the Bengals, it wasn't about winning. It was just about where do you fit in with the Steelers. And coaching just killed all momentum that they could have potentially had. The Browns yesterday, it was smart coaching. It wasn't, man, you were getting tense throughout the game. All right, we got to start having Baker drop back and pass. No, they stuck to what worked the whole time. No matter how many times the Texans were coming close to having a chance to tie it up, they didn't get antsy and start trying to force passes down the field. They continued to feed the ball. 41 carries. More than twice. That was double the amount of pass attempts that Baker had. It was a disciplined game plan. It was a smart game plan, and it's all about the coaching. Kevin Stefanski was the MVP yesterday. Yes, the run game is what, how the team went. But Stefanski sticking to the game plan, not panicking as the game went further along. Texans had a chance to tie it late, with the field goal, but of course they missed because of the wind. The wind impacted both teams. Coaching by Stefanski was the biggest difference yesterday. That and the run game, continuing to stick to the run game. Chubb wasn't dominant for the majority of that game, but as you talked about, continuing to pound the rock, wear down the defense, and then that's usually when the Browns start to separate themselves later in the game, and that's what happened yesterday.
And you talk about coaching. Romeo Cornell had a 4th and goal, and he decided to go for it instead of kicking the field goal to tie it up. Once in a windstorm in a situation like that, you're not going to have too many opportunities to be down there that close. The Browns were winning 3-0 at that point where they decided to go for it on 4th down while Miles stuffed the quarterback draw by Deshaun Watson. I say you kick it there and you get the points, and that way you keep game pressure on the Browns. In a situation like that, you go down like the Texans did, you're going to have to pass the ball. And they had to pass the ball, and it wasn't going to be an effective passing game because of the wind. So the Browns basically held serve by making sure they stuffed them on 4th down, and they kept the momentum on their side. So they never were in the position where they had to pass the ball. The Texans were in the position where they had to put the ball in the air, and that pass game was not going to be clicking. That's why they were doing so many rollouts to the tight end, because the shots downfield were meaningless because the ball was just going to get caught in the wind.
Let's go to the Facebook feed again. Don Roberts says, and let me change the setting on this quick. Don Roberts says, just out of curiosity, have the Browns beat a team over 500? This is not a dig. It's a true question. They have not faced many good teams this year outside of the Steelers and the Ravens, and they got blitzed basically both times. They did. The Colts, who are in first place in their division, the Browns beat without Nick Chubb. So if, and at the time they were getting mocked for that. And right now they're sitting at top of their division. As far as that goes, tied with the Titans at the top, who the Bengals just beat and who were ranting and raving about how impressive of a win that was. Well, the division that the Titans are in, that the Colts are in first place and the Browns beat. And, Phillip Rivers isn't that good. The Colts ain't that good. The Colts, whatever. I mean, I've heard it all. Charles Mitchell jumps in here. Baker versus the Steelers, 10 of 18, 119 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. Burrow, 21 of 40, 213 yards and a touchdown. I don't know what you're trying to accomplish with that, but the biggest, if you look at Burrow's numbers right there, they make sense. You throw double the amount of times at Baker Mayfield, you have 100 more yards than Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. It's really not that hard to figure out. Charles is trying to start an argument that we're really not trying to have. I was actually fairly critical of Baker earlier when we started the show, Kev.
It's kind of like you said last week, you're arguing over a situation where who was less bad.
Every week. It's the same thing every week. Now, I bring the same thing to the table every week, too. Don't get me wrong. But, it's one of those where I think the ceiling for Burrow seems higher than Baker's right now. I think Baker's running out of time. Every week, it can't be weather. It can't be, you're without Chubb. It can't be you're without OBJ. And we try to paint that narrative against the Bengals' horrendous defense that, oh, my goodness, see, he's better without OBJ. Well, he hasn't looked like that since then.
Right.
He is still head and shoulders better this year than he was a year ago because he's under control. He respects the coach. The coach has good control of him, and it's a mutual respect thing between the two, and they're winning ball games. That's what the name of the game is right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to rip Stefanski in this offense and say that it's not good because it is good. I mean, you're winning. You've won 6 games in the NFL. You're 6-3, 3 games above 500. If you beat the Raiders the way you were supposed to, you're in second place in the AFC North. But they lost the game they should not have lost, and that's their fault. I'm not making you brought up the wind earlier. I don't care. Carr, who's just as bad a quarterback as Baker, in my opinion, somehow found a way to make plays and get it done. And that team's rolling now, too, by the way.
Yeah.
That Raiders team, the Raiders are actually better than we had anticipated. And I'm just saying that because they beat the Browns. I'm saying that because since they beat the Browns, they've won every game since then as well. They're 6-3. So, each week it's different. Let's go back to Facebook. Jennifer on Facebook says Taylor has to go. Talking about Zach Taylor. Taylor has to go, and the Browns win was a good win. It doesn't matter if it's by 1 point or 100 points. A win is a win in the NFL. Jennifer, I could not have said that better myself. A win is a win, especially in the NFL. Because look how close they came to losing.
Right.
Look how close they came to losing, and look how close to, of course, the simple-minded people on Facebook, like Shaw yesterday. The second I was even happy about a Browns win, look, 10-7. They only won 10-7 against a bad team. It's like, give me a break. Get out of here. Go away.
Some people are so predictable.
It's like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm like, okay, fantastic. A win's a win. Finding ways because the Browns, their old identity was they would find ways to lose.
Right.
Well, guess what? They're finding ways to win now. The identity is shifting, and that's because of Kevin Stefanski. So I'm all for it. I'm here for that. As far as that goes, that's my favorite saying that I'm trying to, of course, get rid of. That's the drinking game one right there.
Take a shot.
Doug Toby says a good example of weather conditions, New England beating Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore goes down last night. The Patriots, who we have written off and basically said Cam Newton is an official backup in the NFL, which, by the way, that narrative I don't think has completely shifted. He still has a lot to prove in the coming weeks. He has not looked like the MVP caliber Cam Newton, but I've defended that saying, hey, you know what? There's not a lot of guys. You take the best quarterback in the NFL, and they're not going to look like the MVP version of themselves either, playing on a team that has nobody. And that roster full of nobodies last night, because of smart coaching, making the right decisions, put them in position to win. Even had they lost, Kevin, a close one, that's a win in itself when you have a team with no talent that's competing with a team like Baltimore, who's good enough to win a division, who's good enough to potentially get to a Super Bowl, who has an MVP quarterback. So, Doug, you're right. Yes, it's an excellent example right there of how to coach in those weather conditions. Don't drop your quarterback 40 times, especially a rookie against the Steelers defense.
Right. And New England, last time Lamar played New England, he put on a show on Sunday night. And I think Bill did a great job of taking something from the Steelers playbook of basically saying on these zone reads, we're going to let you give it to the running back because your running back can run is, 10 yards, 5 yards, whatever. But you, Lamar, you can take it 80. We're not going to let you take it 80. And then them getting their blocking tight end, his leg snapped in half. the running game was basically inept after that. And, you and I talk about players and coaches and teams like the Green Bay Packers, like, they need to get Aaron Rodgers some weapons. They need to get Aaron Rodgers some weapons. You know who needs some weapons? Lamar. Your best player passing threat shouldn't be your tight end. It just shouldn't.
Well, they just went and they got, they got Dez Bryant. What are you talking about, Kev?
The X. Now, I'm a big Dez Bryant fan, but Dez hasn't been in the league.
I'm a big Michael Irvin fan, too. It doesn't mean that they should bring him in to be a wide receiver.
That's what I'm saying. Dez was out of the league for 2 years. Dez was out of – now, see, this is a difference.
And he was even himself in that last year he was here.
Right. And this is a big difference between the NFL and the NBA. The NFL is the only league, basketball, you can go to Greece, you can go to China, you can go all these other places and play basketball and up your game. And football, there's only one league, the NFL. So Dez can do as many push-ups, crunches, and wind sprints in his nice backyard as he wants to, but that doesn't translate to the NFL. I think it was a big blown opportunity from the Ravens not giving the world, basically, for lack of a better word, to AB.
Brown. Yeah.
I really thought that's who should have signed them, and they could have been a potential Super Bowl threat, but they just don't have the weapons, in my opinion, to make a deep run. The defense isn't as stout as it normally is. Like, it's still good. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. It's still a good defense, but it's not as, mean and nasty as it once was. And the running game isn't there right now because basically what they're forcing them to do is give it to the running backs. And we're finding out, the reason why their running game was so explosive last year is because people were really confused on that zone read. So now that they're basically eliminating the confusion, saying go with Lamar every time. So he can't get it. If Lamar does the right thing on the zone read, if they crash on him, give it to the running back. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But what he's supposed to do is helping them out. You know what I mean? He's the explosive player. He's the explosive guy on the team that's going to get a chunk play. So if you eliminate those chunk plays, they're in a world of hurt on offense.
Yeah, you talked about the NFL is the only league. There's not a secondary league that you can go to and be a star. It's not like Stephon Marbury, who was a glorified role player in the NBA, goes to be one of the biggest basketball superstars in the history of Chinese basketball. That if there was a secondary league like that for football, Dez Bryant would be the equivalent to that. Which, by the way, shout out, the Marburys, man. I grew up poor, man. I lived on those shoes.
Hey, 1999.
Like we'd go buy like multiple pairs of those. Those would be like we get the free shoes, for school. Get the nice ones. Go buy a couple pairs of Marburys. You just use those for practice throughout the season. That's how you did it, right there.
Starberries.
Yep. Star Kenner, baby. There you go. I was all excited to have posted my shot that I hit when I played for the Globetrotters that year.
Yeah.
Apparently, I traveled.
Did you?
I guess.
Who said you traveled?
Show up on Twitter said I traveled. I was like, I didn't travel.
You got it.
So I sent it. So my three of my friends
pull up.
3 of my friends are referees. I sent it to them. They dissected the hell out of it. And I was like, okay. So I sent them a little gif of Bob Knight throwing the damn chair across the floor. I'm like, I'm out. Forget this. I didn't sign up for this. But apparently I traveled. Life was a lot better back before I knew I traveled. So there you go. Last thing here, Jennifer on Facebook says, she goes, I'm a Bengals fan and a Michigan fan, by the way. So she had a tough weekend.
Michigan who?
She had a tough weekend.
Michigan Wolverines?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Ann Anderson, she says, you're trying hard, Justin. Keep it up. As far as that, remember, as far as that's concerned, there you go. Charles Mitchell has a shout out to you. You're right, Kev. I'm trying to argue who was less bad. I have so little to argue about. We are out here hungry, and the Steelers won't get up from the table. Hooday, Kev Nash runs Dayton.
Salute.
So there you go. Well, if you run Dayton, can you get the Gem City Jam to happen?
Uh-oh.
Because if not, I have a Gem City Jam 30 for 30 coming up here in 10 minutes, 4:00. The new 30 for 30. Bengals fans were hoping, because when I made the 30 for 30 about the Bengals, they won. They won. So literally a little bit ago, I think it was Ron. I got to find it right here. Oh, yeah. Ron Moreland says, I'm a Bengals fan. And Justin, you are not a troll. You've been right each week about our team. Can you please bring back the 30 for 30? Now, I think he was just being nice to me, hoping that I would bring back the 30 for 30 because the Bengals are undefeated when I created 30 for 30 about them. But it's not a football-related 30 for 30. I created the 30 for 30 Gem City Jam edition, and I'm going to have that coming up here in 10 minutes, 4:00. So we have some callers on hold. We're going to get to them right away. On the other side, again, more reaction to a big weekend in the NFL. I can't believe we're 10 weeks in.
Crazy.
We're 10 weeks into the season, and we're gearing up. I mean, we're about a month and a half away, assuming things don't get, season, too many games don't get pulled and all that.
Oh, boy.
By the way, the NFL, although it looks sloppy at times, they've done a really good job of navigating through this COVID season. I don't know why you're smiling like that. There's not one game that is left to be played. They've gotten every game in. The one game that the Titans nearly screwed up, that was their fault. That wasn't because we're trying to play during the pandemic. They've done it properly. They've done it right. I have no clue why you're smirking, because the only reason you should be smirking is if you actually have a legit reason as to why it's not working. There's nothing wrong with what the NFL's done. They've gotten every game in. Everyone's played.
COVID is sitting around the corner saying, "Hold my beer."
Well, people were saying that about the season won't start, and here we are 10 weeks in. We keep doing this thing where it's like, oh, well, COVID ain't going to allow it to happen. We just wrapped up a World Series. We just wrapped up an NBA Finals. We're heading into Week 11 of the NFL season. I'm just saying, eventually, we'll be doing this for 3 years. Have 3 NBA champions, 3 World Series.
Crossing my fingers.
Aye.
Did the best team in Ohio play this weekend?
Huh?
Did the best team in Ohio play this weekend?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do they play in the NFL?
Yeah, they might as well. Got enough players in the NFL from it.
How's Dwayne Haskins doing? Alex Smith said, "Thank you for being a typical Buckeye quarterback in the NFL."
Terry McLaurin balled out.
Alex Smith said, "Shout out to Herbs."
Facts. Thank you. Thank you for a nice wide receiver, sir.
All right.
You can catch the ball.
Doug Toby says, "Did I hear right today that the first 4 in March Madness is all going to be in Indianapolis?" You did hear that right. College basketball right now working on a contingency plan to where if things happen like what's going on in college football, and it's smart. They got to have this plan ready to go to where there may not be the first 4 in Dayton for the second year in a row, because all NCAA tournament games are, reportedly being planned to all happen in Indianapolis. So we'll keep an eye on that as that unfolds. We'll get into some college basketball stuff coming up in hour 2. ESPN's 30 for 30, the Gem City Jam edition, coming up at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock. We'll get to some of your calls on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Just in time for holiday baking, stuffing, cookies, and cleaning, the Home Depot has up to 40% off top-rated appliances, plus up to $700 in instant savings. The best prices of the year already here. Add to that free and flexible delivery, and the holidays get even sweeter. Holiday appliance shopping improved. Up to 40% off appliances now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Continental U.S. only while supplies last. Valid through December 2nd. Free delivery on orders $396 or more.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Okay, so did you see that game the other day? The refs, right? I mean, come on. They were totally out to get us. That always happens to our team. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. We've got what you need. Regular changes are the best way to keep your engine running smooth. We'll help you find the right oil for your make and model and everything to help you finish the job right, like drain pans, filters, and funnels. And we've got more ways to get it all fast, like our next day delivery and our free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
There's no place like home for the holidays, or HomeDepot.com for holiday decor, with Black Friday prices inside and out, like artificial Christmas trees starting at just $39.98, or outside lights and playful inflatables to bring joy to the neighborhood. Order online, and you'll even get free delivery. Holiday decorating improved with a wide assortment of holiday decor from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Free standard shipping on most online orders over $45. Some exclusions apply while supplies last.
It's game day. Are you ready? If you want your game day meal in a hurry, be sure to stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a Buckeye Bucket with 25 golden brown breast strips for only $29.99. And don't forget to add a large Dr. Pepper for $1. Lee's can make your gathering for the big game famous and take the work out of your perfect party. Buckeye Buckets are available daily and limited 2 per customer. Pick up one today. Lee's, famous for chicken.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need. Our professional parts people can suggest the best products for your car and budget, like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil, just $28.95. Plus, earn a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate and double O rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Update your home during Menards' last 11% rebate sale of 2020. Get 11% off all Mastercraft door systems. Choose from our in-stock selection, including pre-finished doors. Or design your door for free in-store or on Menards.com with our door designer. Stop into Menards for the last 11% rebate sale of 2020. Savings are good until November 25th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Staples has great deals on the hottest brands and must-have gifts for working or learning from home. Shop in-store or pick up curbside at most stores and save big at Staples.
Follow ESPN 1410 Wing AM on Facebook to watch The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Listen, stream, and now watch. It's The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Coming up here in just a few moments, we're going to get to our new ESPN 30 for 30, the Gem City Jam edition. Dayton Flyers doing their damnedest to not play the Wright State Raiders, even though everyone says, hey, right now you need to play regional close games. Stop. You don't need to focus on going all over the country to play games. All right, play. You have teams in your backyard. Play those teams. Now, in the Flyers' defense, they did add the powerhouse that is the D2 Bellarmine team that is now new to D1. So in their defense,
welcome.
Regional. I guess 3.5 hours is regional. I guess. I mean, good. Not terrible. I mean, but you pass a lot of teams on the way to get there. I'm just saying, like, it's just strange. You're trying too hard. You're working too hard to not have that game. So we're going to have the ESPN 30 for 30 Gem City Jam edition. Some UD fans may like it, may not like it. That's okay. I'm not ripping the program. I'm ripping the decision not to play right. Like, I don't know why people can't do that. If you have an opinion about how you don't like the way a program is doing something, you automatically hate that program. I don't hate the program. I just hate that they don't play this game. So I'm making sure that I set the tone for the people who listen to this and say, wow, he hates the hometown team. No, I don't. Keep in mind, the hometown team. Keep in mind that I'm still supporting one of our hometown teams in this, right? I know that's not allowed. Like, people are like, if it's not my hometown team, then you're not supporting any of them. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Just quit. So the ESPN 30 for 30 Gem City Jam edition coming up next. Plus, we're going to get to your calls. We're going to talk about college football. Around the corner, Ohio State didn't play. But Indiana, how about that? Michigan, Jim Harbaugh. Does he remember how to coach? Penn State, they're 0-4. Whew. Not a pretty scene in the Big Ten, but it sets up a big one. I never thought I would say this, but it's Indiana week. It's Indiana week. I mean, you could say they were going to be. What would you say?
What?
What?
I've been saying it since the first time the season got canceled.
Saying
Indiana was going to be real.
But we don't know that they're real. We're going to find out. So what happens when Ohio State bludgeons them like 45-0 on Saturday? They're no longer real.
Hey, all I'm going to say is I said that Indiana was going to be real this season.
What if I told you that Indiana, just like Cincinnati, is always good until they actually play somebody? And then guys like Kev, who said I told you so, say, yeah, my bad.
No, it's not my bad. Nobody predicted them to beat Michigan except for a certain somebody.
The 1-3 Michigan?
Hey.
You sound like Jerry. The Lakers are going to be NBA champions with LeBron James.
So you thought Indiana was going to beat Michigan?
No. But now that we see who Michigan is, it's like, okay, that makes a little bit of sense.
So you predicted Indiana to beat Penn State in week 1?
No. But now that we see that Penn State's 0-4, it makes a little sense.
Well, I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I think a lot of these teams have now, like, their whole season is over. Like, dudes are checking out, quitting, going pro, all that type of stuff. You're going to see a lot more of that. So I don't necessarily think like, all right, man, these teams are just automatically terrible now. Like, they have nothing to play for. So like that urge to do extra is done. But I was the one on this here radio station saying, hey, look out for Indiana. And people laughed. People laughed at me.
But be careful, though, because I feel bad for you. Because on Monday when we come in and Ohio State bludgeons the Hoosiers.
I hope they get destroyed.
I mean,
don't get it twisted. I hope Ohio State blows them out. But going into this season, I said, hey, man, Indiana, they got a lot of seniors on defense. They got a pretty good quarterback. Matter of fact, they had 2 good quarterbacks. The other one has Northwestern undefeated. They're not horrible. And people laughed at me.
I mean, they're good for the American Conference. They'll be good for the American. We'll see. No, we'll get into some college football coming up here around the corner. But the Gem City Jam, baby, come on. You're trying too hard, UD. Which, by the way, I have some nice things to say about UD coming up around the corner. They have one hell of a recruiting class. I mean, it went from crickets after the magical 2019-2020 season that they had. That, of course, the rug was pulled out from them abruptly when it came to the NCAA tournament. I was waiting for that recruiting bump. I kept waiting. Where's the recruiting bump? How is UD going to capitalize on all this? Yeah, well, I'm just not the most patient individual. Anthony Grant's a very calm, patient individual who knew how this was going to play out.
Calculated.
4 amazing players that he just wrapped up for what's supposed to be the class of 2021, but they may get one of the guys that they just signed today earlier than that. So we're going to talk about that in hour number 2 as well. But the Gem City Jam edition of the ESPN 30 for 30. I worked hard on this. I cannot wait. Don't go anywhere. We have it for you next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's auction time again in North Lima, Ohio with home improvement products and building materials, and it's all online, ending this Tuesday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products online. Kitchens, flooring, Anderson windows and doors, decking, unclaimed freight, and more, all sold online at pbauctions.com. Auction ends this Tuesday at noon, so we'll see you online at the auction.
Freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks. $29.99 each, you 4 pounds of freaking chicken chunks. You'll get the 4 sauces too. 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 Freaking chicken chunks.
Bring in the season with 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is Frickers.
Freaking chicken chunks, 4 sauces too. Freaking chicken chunks, 4 freaking pounds, freaking chicken chunks.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Yeah, sure, the players bring some skill to the game, but if I don't put them in my lineup, who cares? Not me. I'm Eric Rubino, fantasy baseball GM and league runner-up 2 of the last 9 years. I use the Progressive Name Your Price tool with options based on my budget. And for a guy that's used to being in control, it fits. Like this runner-up t-shirt. Champ gets a trophy, but you can't wear a trophy. Boom.
Get options based on your budget with Progressive, even if you're not a legend in your own mind. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
O'Reilly. Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, windshield washer fluid, and more. Get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs, plus earn double O Rewards points. Get ready for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Big news from Dell Technologies. Black Friday's here with deals up to 50% off small business computers with Intel Core processors. Call 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/SB Black Friday.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
So you want to talk about outliers? Those guys are outliers. You're lucky that this thing's separating us. That's all I got to say. Or facts, though. I got your facts right here.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook to follow along. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Hour 2 of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. Coming up here in just a little bit, I'm going to tell you how we need your help. The holiday help out coming up this weekend. We're going to be live out at the Firehouse in Trotwood. Again, I have more information, more details on that. Again, we put this out on social media and the websites late last week and on social media today. We're excited about this. Again, I mean, right now especially. I mean, this is always an important time of year to help and to give back. But with everything going on, I think this year it's even more crucial. The holiday help out, again, it's going to be this Friday, November 20th, starting at 6 a.m. until Sunday, November 22nd at 2 p.m. Again, it's going to be located at the Trotwood Firehouse, 5469 Little Richmond Road. It's going to be a completely touchless drive-through food donation experience. I'm going to tell you what we need, what items we need. We've helped out with this with Faith Daniels, 92.1 WROU, has been doing this for years, and we've always helped out as much as we can, especially you, and I've kind of jumped on board the last couple of years as well. So we're excited to be able to help out with this, especially this year with everything going on. People need our help more now than ever.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be a great event. Like you said, it's completely touchless, so it's going to be a COVID-safe event. In years past, you can come to the firehouse and hang out with us for a little while, even jump on the air. But, since COVID is here, it's going to be a drive-through situation. We'll give you a fist air bump, elbow bumps and stuff like that. So we definitely appreciate everyone bringing out the non-perishable food items. We're even taking clothing donations this year. So, everybody come on out and help.
Yep, we're going to be out there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And again, we're excited to partner with, of course, 92.1 WROU and Faith Daniels, who does a fantastic job. But we're going to be at the Trotwood Firehouse 72, 5469 Little Richmond Road. It's a completely touchless drive-through food donation experience. We need non-perishable food items, personal care products, hats and glove sets, Thanksgiving holiday meal items, dressing, corn, green beans. In fact, here in the coming days, I'm going to add the pictures where we'll be able to show you on Facebook just how impressive it is with how much food actually comes in for this and how many families are fed because of this. So we want to make sure that every one of you out there, has a chance to help. And we hope that people can make it out there. Large or small, whatever your donation is, trust me, during these times right now, any little bit helps. And we want to make sure that we cannot emphasize that more as far as that goes. So it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. The Gem City Jam, ESPN's 30 for 30. I've worked hard on this. I cannot wait. Check it out again. UD, Wright State. There's no reason why you have not played each other. There's plenty of reasons, and I know the reasons. And, it is what it is. But I'm telling you right now, you're trying too hard, UD, to not play Wright State. You're just trying way too hard. You're going to hurt yourself. You're trying so hard not to play Wright State. You have a great non-conference schedule. If everything pans out, it's a great non-conference schedule. But just because you have good teams on your non-conference doesn't mean that it's an excuse to not get another game in, especially if you're allowed 27 games. You don't get the full 27-game season. That means you would rather play less games. You would rather play less games than to play Wright State. That's weird to me. That's trying too hard to not get the game in. All right. I talked with Coach Nagy last week for Wright State. They said they're still trying to get an extra game, and they still have an open spot. They still have. So they need an opponent. I don't want to hear it. Then you'll have the AD for UD, who does a fantastic job. I think he's done a pretty good job of selecting the right coaches who have then gone on to create some pretty good teams. So I'm not saying he's doing a bad job, but just because you do a great job doesn't mean that the one thing that I feel like you're not doing a good job of doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to point that out and say, hey, I think it's boneheaded not to get that game on the schedule. So here it is, our ESPN's 30 for 30, the Gem City Jam edition. Check it out.
What if I told you that it's been 23 years since the Dayton Flyers last played the Wright State Raiders? That only 13 miles separate the schools, but it's certain egos that widen the gap.
The number one reason why that matchup doesn't happen, in your opinion, is what?
I think ego and lack of common sense.
Simple enough. We agree.
Is that simple?
What if I told you that the Flyers would rather play Bellarmine? Wait, who the hell's Bellarmine?
Voice guy, you can't just stop in the middle of a 30 for 30 masterpiece that I created to ask a question. Now I'm going to answer it for you. Bellarmine is a brand new Division I school out of Louisville. All right. Does that answer your question? Now get back to the promo read. Come on. That's what we're paying you for.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Bellarmine. Sheesh. What if I told you that if Dayton is as great as they say they are, then fearing a loss to the Wright State Raiders should not be a concern?
Wright State does not bring anything to the table, Justin.
Oh, really? And Bellarmine does. What do they bring, Mikey? Please.
That's not
here, I'm going to get out my pen. Hold on. All right. I have my paper.
It's ESPN's latest 30 for 30. Prove you're not afraid of the Raiders and bring back the Gem City Jam. Produced by Justin Kinner. Coming this, whenever Dayton decides to, I guess.
I've produced many of these 30 for 30s. I've produced many of them. I'm very proud of this 30 for 30. I feel like I've worked hard on this one.
Bravo.
And shout out to the voice guy. The voice guy just could not. He was even like Bellarmine. Ay. But again, we'll have that for you again. And by the way, you can go back. We have the Ohio State.
I don't like that. I don't like that one.
Mike on Facebook says nominated. I mean, I
really like that.
Pure Gold. So right now, I mean, it's getting great reviews. I mean, Pure Gold. I'm getting that already on here. Pure Gold. I mean, thank you, Mike. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce your name. Thank you, Pure Gold. That's what I was aiming for. That's what I was going for. I was shooting for the stars. No, and again, some people get upset. Just having some fun with it. We want to see it happen. It should happen. There's no reason that it shouldn't happen. Actually, there's a lot of reasons why it's not going to happen. But I'm just saying. Philip Reed, he says that was funny. Thank you, Philip Reed. Thank you. I appreciate that. So far, so good. I feel like it's, I'm not out of the woods yet, but I felt like it was funny. It was pretty good. I mean, I worked hard at the Ohio State one was pretty good.
No.
You didn't like that one, but come on.
I don't like that.
The Ohio State, the 30 for 30, my very first 30 for 30 that I ever produced was the ESPN 30 for 30. The refs blew the whistle, but not the game. That was my favorite one. I wish we had that on deck. We're gonna have to.
I'm glad we don't have that one on deck. I don't like that one.
And then the other one, what was the Cincinnati Bengal one? The ESPN 30 for 30. Do you remember what that one was?
I mean, we have it right here.
Do we?
Yeah, we have it.
Well, yeah, I'm partway satisfied. I like your show, but there's times I just have to turn it off because you're so negative to the Bengals.
What if I told you that Bengals fans need to realize that Kinner is always right? That 1-5-1 is not better than 5-2.
They are so backwards. Like, do you remember when the Bengals were going to the playoffs and everyone knew they were one and done, and they used to say, "Well, at least we made the playoffs. You guys get the bottom pick."
That almost winning games doesn't count for anything, and that winning games actually matters.
See, we're not surprised because this is how Joe Burrow always plays. He's always good. He always picks up over 300 yards. He always posts touchdowns. He always runs for touchdowns.
He does, and what's his record? 1-5-1.
What if I told you that Bengals fans are delusional?
That's the Cincinnati Bengal way of thinking.
It's the new ESPN 30 for 30. Our team may be a joke, but at least we like our quarterback. Produced by Justin Kinner.
Who the hell would want to play for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Now,
coming this spring.
To be fair, Bengals fans thanked me for that one because they beat the Titans on that one, right? Like they beat the Titans. Like, so I produced that. That was the weekend of my birthday, by the way. I was all excited. So the Browns lost to the Raiders and the Bengals beat the Titans. Tim Cockrell on Facebook says, one of the best 30 for 30s I have heard yet. UD is scared. Oh, man.
Ooh.
30 for 30, stirring some stuff up. I like it. That was the goal. All right, we're going to air that 30 for 30, the UD one coming up again here. And the Gem City, it's not the UD one, the Gem City Jam one.
Right.
The Gem City Jam one. All right. Now, for those of you who are getting your panties all in a wad, just relax. Start wearing thongs if you're going to get, to get used to it then. I mean, my goodness. Relax. I'm not hating on UD. I can hate that they don't have this matchup and it be an isolated thing that I like to poke at without it being right away reflected as, I hate the program. I can have an opinion on this without it being the total opinion of the program. Let's just be clear. It is what it is. You know what? Air it again. One more time. Here it is, the ESPN 30 for 30 Gem City Jam edition. Check it out again.
What if I told you that it's been 23 years since the Dayton Flyers last played the Wright State Raiders? That only 13 miles separate the schools, but it's certain egos that widen the gap.
The number one reason why that matchup doesn't happen, in your opinion, is what?
I think ego and lack of common sense.
Simple enough. We agree.
It's that simple.
What if I told you that the Flyers would rather play Bellarmine? Wait. Who the hell's Bellarmine?
Voice guy, you can't just stop in the middle of a 30 for 30 masterpiece that I created to ask a question. Now I'm going to answer it for you. Bellarmine is a brand new Division I school out of Louisville. All right. Does that answer your question? Now get back to the promo read. Come on. That's what we're paying you for.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Bellarmine. Sheesh. What if I told you that if Dayton is as great as they say they are, then fearing a loss to the Wright State Raiders should not be a concern?
Wright State does not bring anything to the table, Justin.
Oh, really? And Bellarmine does. What do they bring, Mikey? Please.
Well, that's not
here, I'm going to get out my pen. Hold on. All right. I have my paper.
It's ESPN's latest 30 for 30.
Prove you're not afraid of the Raiders and bring back the Gem City champ. Produced by Justin Kinner. Coming this, well, whenever Dayton decides to, I guess.
All right, and there it is. And I promise not to, hound you with it too much, but I am proud. But that's going to be made available on DVD and VHS. It's going to be made available on VHS and Blu-ray and the DVD and all of that. And there you go. So let's go. More reviews coming in. I'm not used to praise. I don't handle praise well. Like, I'm not joking. I get uncomfortable. People come up and say, "Hey, man, I love the show." I always say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I have no clue why I apologize." I'm used to just being hated on completely at all times. I'm not used to this praise. I'm uncomfortable. Keith Tolliver says, "No doubt they're scared. This is an instant classic." I agree.
Wow.
I agree. And the main reason is because, they try so hard to discredit everything Wright State does and tell you how bad that they are. But if they're that bad, if you're not worried about it, then why not play them? If they are so bad, just play them. Shut them up. Bring Wright State to the arena in front of 300 fans. Kick their ass. Embarrass them. Scott Nagy, who? Bob Grant, you'll regret, agreeing to this deal. Prove it. Do it. Do it. I mean, if Wright State is that big of a joke in your eyes, then bring that joke in and schedule it like it's a comedy act, okay? Do it. But you don't. And why is that? I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm dead serious. If they are as much of a joke as what you tried to pretend that they are, then play them. You play jokes every year. Bellarmine, no offense to them, by the way. All right, let's be clear. One of a team just an hour, south of us, Northern Kentucky, out of the Horizon League, actually. Mm-hmm. The very first year that they were eligible as a D1 team to make the NCAA tournament, they actually made the NCAA tournament. So, you know what I mean? That was a cool story. That was John Brennan, the head coach at Cincinnati, was the head coach at Northern Kentucky. In fact, that was the year that UD got knocked out of the NCAA tournament by Wichita State. Northern Kentucky played Kentucky later that night. That team had Bam on it, by the way. The team that knocked out Northern Kentucky the very first year that they were eligible, they had Bam Abadabadabadibo, or whatever his name is. I can't pronounce it, so I just go with Abadabadaba. But no, it's interesting. So we've seen that happen. But if you're going to try that hard to not play him, you can't not play them because you're worried about losing to them, and they're trying to tell people that, they're nothing, they're nobody, blah 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 blah, whatever. Hey, UD fans, I know I've been laying it on thick. I promise you, we have a lot to talk about. Their recruiting class coming up. In all seriousness, it's out of this world. One thing I will say though is, could the success of this past year hurt the perception of the success moving forward?
What you mean?
The program is really good. Yeah, they're in good hands. Anthony Grant's a fantastic coach. They have talent. The recruiting class. This class is going to be better than the class that made up this number 3 team in the country.
Okay,
but I still think it's very too far-fetched to think that, this team with Obi Toppin that was number 3 in the country, you have the 4 3-stars and the 4-star kid coming in for 2021. I mean, I feel like because of all the success that they had this year, watching them climb the ranks, watching them do what they did at Maui, watching them climb all the way up to number 3, game day came to Dayton. Mm-hmm. They dominated the A10. They dominated all their opponents. They were on Sports Center every night. I think because they had so much success that it's going to be hard to live up to that.
Yeah.
That no matter how good they are moving forward, I don't think it's a hot take for me to say that I don't think they're going to be number 3 in the country. They're going to be good. They're going to be above what they should be. And I mean that in a good way. Anthony Grant's taking them ahead of where they should be, considering they're in the A10. But I don't think they're going to be number 3 in the country moving forward. I don't think they're going to be fighting for a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament moving forward. I don't think that they're going to be, living on Scott Van Pelt Sports Center every single night. And that's not a knock at them. I swear I'm not taking a shot at them. I think that's just the reality of it. They're just going to be a really, really good Dayton Flyers basketball team moving forward. So I worry that because of how good they were this year, that it's going to alter the perception of just how good they are moving forward. To where when they're having those really good years, are we going to say, yeah, but it's not like that year, and it's not like 2019.
Yeah,
it's not. The worst game day. And that's not a shot, but you know what I mean. They almost. It's like it was so good this year, and they're using that success to create a long path of success moving forward. But the problem is I don't know if this class is going to be good enough to get them to number 3 in the country again, where they're fighting for a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. that's where I'm like, okay, is that going to alter, are we going to be witnessing a great basketball team moving forward, but it's not going to feel as great just because we got spoiled with what we just saw this past year?
Well, you're way more dialed into the program than I am. I remember you telling me how good Obi was his red shirt year, like the year he was sitting out because you were able to check out practices and stuff like that back when the world was open and everything.
Oh, no, I talked to people who attended the practices. I ain't allowed over there.
Definitely won't be allowed over there after this.
I was going to say, they don't let me.
But yeah, you're more dialed into the program. But like that's what happens when you have a transcending player like Obi Toppin and very good role players around him, and then a potential NBA player at point guard. That's what happens when you bring guys that can play in the league. We're going to see if these guys can play in the league in this latest recruiting class. I know it's not like hot take radio and everything like that, but to say we got to see what we got because we haven't seen this rendition of the Dayton Flyers yet. But from everything that we know about Coach Grant, he's going to put his players in the best position to score the basketball, and he's going to demand good defense out of them. So they're going to be good, but as good as they were last year, I don't know. Yeah. I just got to see it. I got to see what you got. I got to see what you're working with before I could jump out on a limb like that. Like that season last year, like you talked about them being on ESPN every night with an Obi highlight with something, an alley-oop from half court, from anybody throwing him an alley-oop to him blocking somebody's shot, him doing a windmill between the legs and all that type of stuff. That only can help the program. It can only help the program recruiting wise.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, I think the program's going to be above what good usually is in the A-10 moving forward. Like, they're going to be great moving forward. The problem is we now, as in this city, great to us is number 3 in the country. Great to us is number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't know. I give UD fans credit, though. They've seen the ebbs and the flows of the programs. They've seen them in the national championship scene, and then they've come down, and they've come back up and go down. This past decade was an interesting run for UD, mainly because you had the Cinderella run and the Elite Eight run when they got knocked out by Florida. That was different. I've asked before, what was more magical to UD fans? Was it the Elite Eight run years ago, or was it the regular season run that they had this year? Like, which was more fascinating to UD fans? If UD fans could only pick one run to relive, would it be the Elite Eight run with the non-top 25 regular season and the Elite Eight run, or the number 3 team in the country no run in the tournament, which in their defense, it's because they didn't get a chance to.
Right.
But if you could only pick one, if you could relive one run as a fan, would it be the Elite Eight run with the good offensive regular, or with the good regular season,
with Cyber? That was the Cyber team, right?
So it's like,
that's a very tough question because, UD fans, and especially people here in Dayton, we're tapped into college basketball all season long. So amongst our people, we're always watching college basketball. But to the masses, the only time that college basketball matters is a March Madness. So the most of the eyes of the world were on UD during the tournament run.
Yep.
The better highlights happened during the season. The fun lasted from November until mid-March. But in all actuality, the way college basketball is set up, the only thing that matters is March. Unfortunately, it sucks to say that.
But you get more, like this past year, you got Maui, you got the big wins, you got game day. You had there was just so much bottled up into that regular season that trumped the run that they made to the Elite Eight years ago when Archie was here. So it's always an interesting dynamic to look at because there's no parallel between these two. There's no correlation between them. They're completely different.
Right, because the season got cut short, unfortunately. Horrible. I feel so bad for, obviously, the fans, but, man, I feel bad for the players on that team. Man, I feel horrible for them, man. Like, they didn't get a chance to go out there and show what they really had in the bag. And, who's to say that other guys on that team's draft stock wouldn't have went up during the tournament? They would have been going up against, quote unquote, the blue bloods of the sport, the Kentuckys, the Dukes. They would have had an opportunity to play those teams, could have played Kansas again or something like that, and Jalen Crutcher could have balled out and his draft stock could have went through the roof. But unfortunately, the season got cut short and they weren't unable to do that, man. So, I feel so bad for the players on that team, man, because they worked so hard for the tournament. Everything that a college basketball player does is for the tournament. Yep. We as fans, we live and die with every game, but in all actuality, man, the only thing that matters in college basketball is March Madness. And I mean, they didn't even get a chance to play in the A-10 tournament. You know, it was just
based on recent history in the A-10 tournament. It might have been a good thing, but it is what it is. But they had that 3 seed in the bag, or they were number 3, the 1 seed, wrapped up, which is, I mean, like that's what I said. That's rare. Like we see Cinderella team. Like the reason I'm saying the regular season was better than the Elite 8 run that they had. The regular season, I don't know if you're going to replicate that again moving forward. At least in the A-10, I don't know if you're going to replicate that again in the A-10. The Elite 8, Cinderella teams happen every year.
Right.
You know, you have your Cinderella teams every year in the NCAA tournament. So that's not rare. What's rare is this. You know, hell, even after the Elite 8 run, we saw them get to the Sweet 16. We saw them upset more big teams in the tournament the following year. So to me, it's just one of those where big picture, there's going to be many more opportunities for them to make those magical runs in the NCAA tournament that may not lead to a national championship, but you're going to have those experiences. What I don't think you're going to experience again, not saying it's impossible because last year, I mean, proved that anything's possible, but I'm not going to bet on any time in the near future that UD's back to being the number 3 team in the country and that they're fighting for 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. I just don't see that. So that's why I would have taken last year's regular season over the Elite 8 run, because I think it's rare. Last year was more rare from a program like Dayton than what we saw from them in the run in the NCAA tournament when you have Cinderella teams make runs every year. Doug Toby says it's going to be a little bit more like Kentucky. They'll probably leave after 2 or 3 years. Won't be like Landers and Mike Sell staying 4 or 5. Doug, with all due respect, I think that's way too high. I mean, you're putting them in a class that they're not yet. Like they're 3 stars. Kentucky and Duke, they're landing the 4 and 5 stars. And Tom Pennington responded with, players at Kentucky leave in 1 year. Yeah, like UD is just the 3 and the 4 stars. They're good quality. Mm-hmm. They're good. You got a 4-star kid, by the way. I mean, that Holmes kid's gonna be fantastic. They got the 4-star, but no, I'm not putting them in the class of Kentucky. They're not at Kentucky's level right now.
There's nothing wrong with that.
You're putting him at that. When Chris Mack was at Xavier, you're putting him in that category where you're getting a lot of those, 3 and 4 stars, and that's why Xavier was able to, establish themselves as a dominant program. I know UD fans don't want to hear being compared to Xavier, but there was nothing wrong with being Chris Mack's Xavier version. Right now, Xavier's still trying to, get back to where they were. But anyways, all right, we went way long on that, which is fine. We'll have that 30 for 30 piece coming up again. People are messaging again saying they really want to hear it again, that they weren't able to get to it in time. We'll have that for you again coming up here around the corner. Let's talk some college football. We'll take your calls. We have a laundry list of callers waiting on hold. I promise you, you are next. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The 2021 Honda ATV lineup is here to prove it's possible to work smarter and harder. With the power to get the job done, the technology to make it easier, and tried and tested quality to keep you moving forward, the only thing left to add is you. Then you'll understand how life is better on a Honda. Honda recommends ATVs for riders 16 years and older and recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Roosters would like to thank all of our loyal guests and all the loyal Buckeye fans for your support this year. Because of you, we've been able to stay open and keep our award-winning team employed. Our team members go above and beyond and are dedicated to providing you and your family the safest dining experience possible while still providing a fun, casual atmosphere to relax, laugh, and enjoy our award-winning food. Roosters, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
If you've got an insurance question, you could talk to the butcher at your local grocery store. He'd probably talk about trimming the fat, but it'd be about your brisket, not your insurance policies. Or you could talk to your local Geico agent. They offer personalized assistance in finding the choicest cuts of coverage for all your insurance needs, which means more money for filet mignon. Or if you're a vegetarian, tofu lait mignon. To find a Geico agent near you, visit geico.com/local.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up, there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 special financial relief assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
Hi, this is Paul Keels, voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Keep your home comfort system running smoothly and efficiently with regular checkups from Butler Heating and Air Conditioning. Butler has been proudly serving the Miami Valley since 1949. Don't wait until your equipment breaks. Call Butler today at 937-253-8871. That's 937-253-8871. Go Butler and go Bucks.
The spread of COVID-19 is still unchecked across the nation, and you need to keep your family safe. Make a new habit and check your temperatures twice a day, once before dinner and before leaving home in the morning. You can't afford to take chances, so use the Exergen Temporal Scanner. Its accuracy is backed by more than 80 clinical studies, and it takes an accurate reading in seconds. It's the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Quick and easy to use. You can count on Exergen to keep your family safe 24 hours a day.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app anytime, anywhere. Listen to more than 300 stations along with more than 3,000 podcasts from your home area or across the U.S., all free.
With the radio.com app.
All those mouths to feed. So many different cravings. In a world filled with endless dinner options, lives a family ravaged by hunger. The answer lies with one man. No, not just a man, a king, a pizza king. Get a large Casano's Deluxe Pizza for $15.99 or a large pepperoni for just $12.99. Call 294-KING and see for yourself why the proof is in the taste. Pizza King.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring for brand new home daily dedicated lanes. Earn up to $1,620 per week. A $2,000 sign-on bonus, medical, dental, vision, company paid life insurance. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com.
I'm Dr. Baker, an ER physician. If you're having leg pain, swelling, or redness, but haven't talked to your doctor yet, don't wait. This could be deep vein thrombosis, a blood clot which could travel to your lungs and lead to a pulmonary embolism, which could cause chest pain or discomfort or difficulty breathing and be deadly. Your symptoms can mean something serious, so don't wait. Talk to a doctor right away, by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured, are not bank guaranteed, and may lose value.
Don't miss Lowe's Provember event now through November 25th. They have deals on brands like DeWalt, Spyder, and Metabo HPT, plus events you won't want to miss. Lowe's, the new home for pros.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
The holiday help out beginning this Friday, November 20th, 6 a.m. until Sunday, November 22nd at 2 p.m. Again, located at the Trotwood Firehouse, 725469 Little Richmond Road. We're going to be out there on Friday. Right, Kev? I should have, we are out there on Friday, correct?
Yes, we are out there on Friday.
The show is out there on Friday.
Well, I'm going to be out there all day. I'm doing my show on Hot 1029 from 10 to 2, and then I'll be hanging out with you from 3 to 6.
So there you go.
There all day. Everything.
There you go. So, I appreciate our listeners. I know I get on your guys' nerves. I know. And Kev is here to help balance it out. Which they're probably saying, Kev, we need you to balance it out a little bit more.
I got you.
But we do need your help this Friday. And I would really appreciate it. And so Bengals fans, I'll give you a who day. I'll give you a who day. I'll say 10 nice things for every Bengals fan that brings a donation on Friday when we're out there. Actually, forget it all weekend. If you could prove that you did. I'll have 100 nice things to say about I will do a whole hour dedicated to just nothing but Kinner praising the Cincinnati Bengals.
I'll up you. I'll give you a who day for every Bengals fan that makes a donation over the weekend, and I'll do a dog bark for all the Browns fans that make donations.
Sure.
And I'm a Steelers
fan. We won't just sit there and who day, bark, 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 bark. Like, we'll sprinkle them out throughout the week. We'll make them make sense, But no, in all seriousness, forget our affiliations with what teams, and the Gem City Jam stuff we've had fun with, Ohio State, Michigan. I don't care. Browns, Bengals, Steelers.
I was just about to say the team up north. I don't
if you Steelers fans are generous enough to join us at the Firehouse in Trotwood. If you are, what do the Steelers have? Like a little, no, just the woof woof and who day were the dumb ones in the league.
It's funny you say that. People familiar with me know my brother. He lives in Las Vegas now, and he just sent me a video of him going to a Pittsburgh Steelers sports bar in Las Vegas. Like, it's all Pittsburgh Steelers fans everywhere. So we travel.
There you go. We'll travel to Trotwood on Friday. And leave a donation. Again, it's the holiday help out. It's a completely touchless drive-through food donation experience. We need non-perishable food items, personal care products, hats and glove sets, Thanksgiving holiday meal items. This is what's cool is we help feed hundreds of families in need this holiday season. And right now, with everything going on, this is an important thing that we do every single year that Faith Daniels and 92.1 WROU started, and we've just kind of helped. You have been helping out longer, and then we jumped on board last year. But the job she does, she literally lives at the Firehouse for 3 days. Like, Faith is awesome. She lives at the Firehouse for those 3 days, all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday till about noon when it's done. And not only does she live there, she basically helps package everything. I'm going to have pictures on tomorrow's show. We will have it displayed. I'll show you the room in the back of the fire station. Wall to wall, just nothing but all the donations. It's insane. And it's overwhelming when you just see how many people come together and help. Again, hundreds of families we help give a Thanksgiving dinner to, and that's what we need your help with. And right now we need help more than ever, especially with everything going on. So come on out this Friday. Bring your non-perishable food items, personal care products, hats and glove sets, Thanksgiving holiday meal items, dressing, corn, green beans, cornbread mix, desserts, boxed mac and cheese, cranberry sauce, sweet potatoes, etc. So make sure that if you have time, come on out, hang out with us.
Come see us.
Not very long. It's a drive-by, just drive through, wave, give you a who day. I'll do whatever. You just bring some stuff. Beep, beep. All right, let's go to the phones. 457-9464. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Kev, who do we got?
We got Jerry.
Jerry, welcome.
What's up, guys?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. First of all, Justin, that 30 for 30 was awesome. And if the UD fans don't like it, then call up their administration and do something about it and play the game. Otherwise, we don't want to hear it. That was beautiful. I loved it.
I try. I aim to please, Jerry.
And Kevin Nash, congratulations to your Steelers winning the division, because I think with Buffalo going down last night, man, you got a 3-game lead with 7 to play. I think you guys might have wrapped it up. So
thank you. One game at a time.
And Justin, I find myself agreeing with you here today. I can't believe it. It's like almost a trend here lately. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it doesn't matter that the teams you beat have a combined winning percentage of 31%. It doesn't matter you're the only 6-3 team in the league that has given up more points than they've scored. You're 6-3. I mean, it doesn't matter that if the playoffs started today, you wouldn't be in them because you'd be the 8th seed according to ESPN.com. Point is, you're 6-3, man. So, there's nothing wrong with that. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of average teams 6-3 in the league right now.
Yeah. Right. I mean, some of us root for teams that, have, that beaten teams with a 53% winning percentage and 57% strength of schedule, toughest schedule in the league so far. But,
Oh, look at you. I leave you on hold that long and you start doing your homework. You come in prepared with stats. Look at you. Look at you.
I know, right? And we got a tough game with Kansas City coming up this weekend, and they're going to be pissed off. So, it is what it is. But after that, I think we could win out. But how about the AFC, guys? This is no joke. We've got 9 teams at 6-3 or better. And really, I don't think you can quite count the Patriots out at 4-5 because they still have division games left. So you got 10 teams in the AFC still fighting for the playoffs. So...
Yeah, and but there's so many. The problem is when you start looking at how many games back they are, but look how many. I mean, you have the 6-3 Colts, 6-3 Raiders, 6-3 Dolphins, 6-3 Ravens, 6-3 Browns, 6-3 Titans.
Yeah.
There's just way too many teams that are in that cluster. Look, I keep guaranteeing that the Browns are going to make the playoffs. There's going to potentially be a 9 or 10 win team that doesn't make the playoffs out of the AFC. And it could be the Browns, and it could be because of your stupid Raiders, Jerry, and that's going to tick me off. The Browns are going to win 9 or 10 games and then miss the playoffs because they lost to your stupid Raiders. I tell you what, man. But there's going to be a 9 or 10 win team that could potentially miss the playoffs. There's 6 teams right now at 6-3 fighting for those last couple playoff spots.
Yeah, it's going to be down to the wire. I don't know. You guys could go 11-5. I mean, you guys.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know.
You guys do have a pretty lame schedule to end, man.
You were a part of that lame schedule, and they tripped up the Browns. So we got to.
Dude, we won 4 of the last 5. We've beaten 2 teams that could end up in the Super Bowl, and the Saints and the Chiefs. So don't give me that crap.
Oh yeah,
it's the hardest schedule in the league, and we're 6-3. Don't give me that crap, Justin. Come on.
Yeah, the Raiders are at the top of anyway. No one's. I don't need you to be nice to me. I told you I don't like when people are nice to me. If I wanted people to like me, I would tell them nice things about their teams.
So I'll just point out right now, you're probably the worst 6-3 team in the history of the NFL right now. Congratulations.
Oh, wow. We're going that route, huh?
The teams you played, Justin, have won 32% of their games.
Mm-hmm.
The teams you won
what argument are you trying to make, though? I'm not arguing any different. I'm not saying, no, you're wrong.
I will say this, though. You guys are 5-0 when you don't let Baker throw more than 25 passes.
Okay.
You know this, right?
They're undefeated. Also, they're undefeated when I saw that they're undefeated when they score more than 7 points, too. So there's that. They got that going for them.
Well, but I'm just saying, you guys can actually, you guys do have a good running game now, especially now that Chubb's back. So that is something.
And by the way, congratulations on beating the Browns when they didn't have Nick Chubb, because that would have been a long day for you if they had him. So
that's okay.
So congratulations, really picking on teams when they're not fully, healthy. Good job. Something to be proud of.
Yeah, we didn't have 3 of our best offensive linemen either there, brother, and we still ran for 200 yards on you guys.
Yeah,
so
you did.
There you go.
Browns have a horrible defense, and your point?
Jerry,
are you going to call in every week? Are we going to be in week 16 and still calling in to argue about how the Raiders beat the Browns months ago?
Yes, because if it was the other way around, you would never let me live it down.
No, if it was the other way around, I would be so moved on past the Raiders. I don't care about the Raiders. I'd be like,
I love the honesty, Jerry.
Would he let me live it down if Cleveland had beat the Raiders?
No,
I know exactly.
Jerry, you got any more hot takes like the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year? You got any other hot takes?
Man, hey, I'll say this: if we can beat Kansas City this weekend, look out. That's all.
I agree. If the Browns can beat the Steelers and Ravens, man, they're in good shape.
But the difference is we've already beaten Kansas City this year.
Oh,
you guys got blown out by Baltimore and Pittsburgh, so that's a big difference. We've already shown we can do it.
Bengals beat the Titans. Are the Bengals one of the best teams in the NFL?
We beat them in their house.
Bengals beat the Titans. Are they one of the best teams in the NFL?
No.
Okay, just making sure. So that rule only applies to them, right?
You're saying hypothetically, if you could beat two teams that have blown your doors off the last couple of years, whereas you're saying, but we've actually beaten Kansas City this year.
Yeah, the Browns beat the Steelers last year. They beat the Ravens last year.
Was Big Ben playing quarterback, or was it some dude off the street?
The Raiders beat the Browns with Nick Chubb? No, they did not.
Oh, my gosh. You got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not.
Really?
I'm dead serious. You did not. Nick Chubb was out. Nick Chubb just came back. He just came back yesterday. Had a good game.
Right.
He had a pretty solid game. 2 running backs, over 100.
You guys are that lame. You can't win without Chubb. Is that it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
they need Nick Chubb. Baker, I mean, he throws like 20 times a game. The receivers average about 3 to 4 drops a game.
Well, again, that proves you're just proving my point. You might be the worst 6-3 team in the history of the NFL, Justin.
Yeah, very well, maybe. But you know what? When they get to the playoffs, it doesn't really matter. Jerry, good hearing from you as always. Take care.
Later.
Peace. You ready for another one?
Yeah.
Charlie, what's up?
Charlie, I don't even think he held. I bet he didn't hold.
What's going on?
Yeah. He did. He never holds this long. Charlie, how are you, my friend?
I'm still on the road, man. I got nothing but time right now. I'm out in Springfield.
You're just upset because I didn't use you in my latest ESPN 30 for 30 film. I could tell. I can hear the sadness in your voice.
No, and you know what? Can we rewind back to last week real quick? I had no idea that Kev went to Wright State.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you need to apologize. I forgot you got Kevin all fired up last week. Like, you no wonder you were kissing his ass a little bit ago.
I called in just to give you a hard time, and I'm trying to get Kev on my side, and all I'm doing is trying to up.
You were like the Bengals against the Steelers, man. You had no chance.
Nobody told me.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Charlie,
and
we still
Kev,
love you, man.
Honestly, I'd love to see Wright State play Dayton. I'm always jealous of the crosstown shootout down in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like there's a handful of rich guys in a room somewhere that are never going to let that happen.
Oh, that you are. I don't say this often, Charlie, but you are 1,000,000% right. And it's not a handful. It's just a very important few.
Yeah, it's like the big time donors, whatever. But hey, can I share a little history with you real quick?
Yeah, but real quick, isn't that sad that there is a handful of those really rich donors at UD that they have all this money in the world. Their life is pretty solid, and they waste energy and time of their day and of their life to make sure that a UD Wright State matchup doesn't happen. Like these guys who they probably have butlers at home. They probably have butlers at home, and these rich guys, these rich people, literally waste time out of their lives to make sure and put the pressure on Neil Sullivan and UD to not play Wright State. That is amazing to me. That's the level of petty that I aim to be one day.
That's all them dudes up in West Oakwood, man. I'm telling you, they got swans out there.
Live ones.
That's not a joke. Hey, just in regards of Indiana, real quick, I just want to share this with you. I don't know if either of you guys were at Wright State when they had the club football team there.
Yes.
Okay, so I played club football at Miami University about 10 or so years ago, and our head coach was Jay Fry. And that dude, if you ever look him up, like he don't have a statue out front of Yeager like everybody else, but that dude's coached at Yale, he's coached the New York Giants. The Memphis Southmen, look them up, check out that roster. He's coaching the CFL, he's got great cups on his table. But every day at practice, he wore a Big Ten championship ring. He was an assistant coach for the Indiana Hoosiers back in the 60s when they last won the Big Ten. So I'm a Buckeyes fan. I love the Buckeyes, but and Coach Fry's still alive. I think he's like 93, but I think he's got to be loving this. And so if Indiana goes on to win it all, wins another championship for Coach Fry guys, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Now, I'm curious, and we're going to get into this coming up in hour 3, but we could start up early with you. How are we respecting Indiana? Are we respecting Indiana selfishly to give for the pride of Ohio State? So are we going to build Indiana up so that when we beat them bad, we could say, man, look what we did to that good team? Is that what we're doing here? I mean, come on, we do this every year. We'll run into a decent team that has a good chunk of wins. I think we lost Charlie. Have we done this? Are we doing this with Indiana, Kev? Are we doing this to the point to where we're trying to build up Indiana to be this powerhouse Hoosier squad that, if Ohio State beats them down on Saturday, which I anticipate happening, don't get me wrong, but when they beat them down on Saturday, is it going to be one of those where, hey, Ohio State, man, that's a good team that they just pummeled? Or is it going to work against them and say, yeah, well, Indiana was fun while it lasted? We're going to get into that conversation on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Phones are down again, huh?
Yes.
Hey, see? Bite me, Bengals fans. The Browns won and the phones are you serious?
Yes.
Thanks, Biden. Our phones never went down when Trump was in office. I'm just saying.
Trump's still in office until January 20th.
No, I'm just saying. But the tide has shifted. Since Biden won the election, our phones have been crap. And it wasn't like that before Biden won the election. So damn it, Biden. Kamala Harris, what's wrong? I mean, it's them. I blame them. I don't want to live in a world where our phones don't work. We'll be back in a moment. Fix the phone. Did someone run into the pole again? We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, do you like to save big bucks?
I like big bucks.
Uh-huh.
I cannot lie.
And the other brothers can't deny, right?
What?
Well, let's just say that right now you can save big bucks on major brand tires.
I like big bucks.
And you cannot lie.
Why would I lie, Mike?
Never mind.
Stop by Tire Discounters and save up to 150 big bucks on select major brands, plus a free alignment with a standard 4-tire installation.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
It's auction time again in North Lima, Ohio with home improvement products and building materials, and it's all online, ending this Tuesday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products online. Kitchens, flooring, Anderson windows and doors, decking, unclaimed freight, and more, all sold online at pbauctions.com. Auction ends this Tuesday at noon, so we'll see you online at the auction.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Fall is here. Rob's Beer Barn is stocked with seasonal refreshments, and holiday beers have arrived, and they're going fast. Rob's Beer Barn has you covered for all your family plans this holiday season. At Rob's, you can find all of the ice-cold refreshments you'll need. Craft, imported, local, and seasonal beers, fine wine, snacks, and ice. Rob's has it all. And for last-minute items, you can call, walk in, or drive through. Stop in and visit Rob's and stock up today. Rob's Beer Barn on Indian Ripple Road at Darce, just a mile east of the Green. Rob's Beer Barn. Look for the beaver.
There's no place like home for the holidays. And when it comes to home style, there's no place like Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our 8-piece meal for only $19.99. Get the taste of home that's ready in a hurry with 8 mixed pieces of our famous recipe chicken, 2 large sides, and 4 fluffy biscuits. With Lee's, treating your family to a home-style meal is easier than ever. Get a sit-down meal made easy with our 8-piece meal for only $19.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
The holidays and driving go hand in hand, but cold weather and batteries don't. Make sure your vehicle's battery is winter ready with free testing at Advance Auto Parts. If it needs to be replaced, we have Die-Hard batteries that are reliable, durable, and powerful enough to get you through every road trip. Plus, we'll even install it free with purchase. No appointment necessary. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. Most vehicles, most locations. See store for details.
Some gifts don't come wrapped in packages with bows and ribbons. They aren't hidden away, then torn into with reckless abandon. Some gifts are needs, like food or shelter, and those can be the most precious of all. In a year with fewer red kettles, help rescue Christmas for those facing poverty with a $25 monthly donation. Enlist in Love's Army at givewestwood.org.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Stop by Fresh Time Market for blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries, 4 for $5. Now through November 17th. You can trust Fresh Time to bring you real food at real affordable prices fall season long.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here live on a Monday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. 457-9464. I think we got those. We got the phones figured out now.
We're back.
So someone didn't run into a poll. Wasn't Biden's fault. Like we were good.
No, it wasn't JV's fault.
By the way, these people on Facebook, they fascinate me. Because for one, some fans took it and laughed it, found it funny. The 30 for 30. Others, again, I swear they have to. I mean, you might as well wear thongs with how much you get your panties in a bunch all the time. Like, it's unbelievable. So Chris Schulp on Facebook says, where are you seeing that UD is playing Bellamy? I'm getting all fired up. Then he goes, I think that Justin's making up the Bellamy game. And then Shaw, of course, in Shaw fashion, he has to get involved. You can't find it either. I mean, it's really not that hard, folks, to go and Google search something. Now, keep in mind, I think the problem is because, and again, for UD, it's an image thing. They are not proud that they have Bellamy on the schedule. They're not proud. So when they put out their schedule, why is it that UD puts out a press release for, oh, my God, we're playing SMU? Oh, my goodness. Go Dayton Flyers! Yeah! Woo! We're playing SMU, baby! They put that on there. I mean, they put a press release out. They didn't put it out for Bellamy. Why? Now, if you go to Bellamy's schedule, they have it displayed there. They're proud of it, and they should be, by the way.
Right.
They're proud of it. But I'm looking at their schedule right now. I'll talk about Bellamy's schedule. They're playing at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. All right? They're playing Transylvania. Okay? They are at Duke, and they are at University of Dayton. So, again, it's on their schedule. They are displaying it for the world to see. They're proud that they're playing the Dayton Flyers. But UD doesn't, this is the girl that they text, when they get home from the bar late at night. They don't want to be seen out in public. They go to the bars, they go to the clubs. They have fun with the good-looking women over there. And then all of a sudden, when they get home and they didn't get lucky, they didn't bring someone home. So then they text the one that they're embarrassed to be seen out in public with. That's Bellamy. UD's not putting Bellamy up on display. They're not going to put out a press release, and God, that would be so great if they did. I would love if they would, but they're not going to do that. So Shaw, go look at that. It's on. I didn't make it up.
It's real.
It's real. We'll be back in a moment. Hour 3 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
In a world that still calls for your touch, the U by Moen Smart Faucet answers without it.
Moen, wash my hands.
Only one faucet allows you to create hundreds of presets that deliver the exact amount and temperature you ask for. U by Moen, the only faucet you never have to touch. Water designs our life. Who designs for water?
You have to be up in 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 minutes. And when you hear, you realize that you haven't slept a wink. That's why there's ZzzQuil Pure Z's, a drug-free blend of botanicals with an optimal dose of melatonin, so you can fall asleep naturally with no next-day grogginess. It's available in both liquid and gummies, tastes great, and is non-habit forming. Pick up ZzzQuil Pure Z's from the sleep experts at Vicks ZzzQuil. ZzzQuil Pure Z's, naturally superior sleep. Available at retailers near you.
Friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks. $29.99 each, you 4 pounds of friggin' chicken chunks. We'll get the 4 sauces too. We'll get the 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. Friggin' chicken chunks.
Bring in the season with 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is Frickers.
Friggin' chicken chunks, 4 sauces too. Friggin' chicken chunks, 4 friggin' pounds. Chicken chunks.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you, and her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better, and today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
There's no place like home for the holidays or HomeDepot.com for holiday decor with great low prices on decorations inside and out, like artificial Christmas trees to light up the living room, outside lights and playful inflatables that bring joy to the neighborhood. Order online and you'll even get free delivery. Holiday decorating improved with a wide assortment of holiday decor from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Free standard shipping on most online orders over $45. Some exclusions apply while supplies last.
The holidays and driving go hand in hand, but cold weather and batteries don't. Make sure your vehicle's battery is winter ready with free testing at Advance Auto Parts. If it needs to be replaced, we have die-hard batteries that are reliable, durable, and powerful enough to get you through every road trip. Plus, we'll even install it free with purchase. No appointment necessary. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. Most vehicles, most locations. See store for details.
Gifts from eBay say a lot, but don't cost a lot. Get your All-Star Air Jordans at not-so-sky-high prices. And your Rockstar Dad, a Bose soundbar that speaks volumes.
NFL fans, the season is finally here. Get your picks submitted at wingam.com. Click on contest and enter the Pro Football Challenge. Weekly winners will win $20 in Frickers Fun Bucks. Get to wingam.com and get your NFL picks submitted now.
Touchdown! Incredible!
Good luck. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So this report again, I think it was the guy who asked about it earlier on Facebook. I think we'll go back and find it. Doug Toby asked about if he heard this right about the NCAA in talks right now to hold the entire men's basketball tournament in Indianapolis. We didn't get to see the NCAA First Four at UD Arena last year because, of course, the NCAA tournament was cut due to COVID-19 and the shutdown. Well, it looked like, for sure there's going to be an NCAA tournament this year, but now it looks as if, well, even if there's an NCAA tournament this year, that UD Arena will not get to host the First Four for back-to-back years. Now, everyone out there's like, oh my goodness, this is horrible. This is horrible. Possibly. Here's why I'm fine with it is I don't know what the fan capacity is even going to be for these.
Right.
I mean, if you look across the board for college basketball right now, everyone is doing this like month by month basis as far as like, okay, well, for this month, no fans or only 300 fans this month. Limited capacity, at least to the end of December. And then we'll reevaluate at the end of the month. And I feel like all they're going to do is for college basketball, rather than and like make the mistake that the Big Ten in football made, where they just came out early and said, done for the year. They're going to do this thing where they're just going to go month by month. Mm-hmm. All right, no fans till the end of the month. No non-conference games till the end of the month. No games till the end of December. Conference only starting in January, pushing back the conference start to the season a little bit. Like everything is just going to be taken by a 2-week, 3-week chunk at a time. So I don't even know if there would be fans at the NCAA tournament anyways. I do know this, that the NCAA is determined to get this tournament in. There's absolutely no way that the NCAA can go 2 years in a row without the NCAA tournament. They are going to get this in one way or another. They're going to take a loss. It's not going to be your tip. It's going to be 2 years in a row of not having 10 plus arenas throughout the country filled to the rafters with fans cheering on teams that half of them have never heard of. Right? Mm-hmm. They're not going to get that. So they're going to lose out on the gate money, the ticket money, the concessions, all that. But the TV right money is really what they're aiming for right now and making sure. So they're going to get that whether there is people in the stands or not. And I still think there'll be a limited amount, but it is what it is. I don't think UD losing out on the NCAA First Four this year is that big of a deal. What I mean by that is we all know that the tournament's not going to look like it has traditionally looked in years past. So we've already known that, okay, by missing out on the First Four in Dayton, it's not as if we're really missing out on the First Four in Dayton. It's not going to feel like the First Four.
Yeah, because we can't go.
Yeah. So with that being said, it's like, okay, well, so the difference is now we can't, when we watch the First Four, it won't be live from UD Arena. It'll be live from, in Indianapolis. So that's why I'm really not bummed. I'm bummed for, the folks that put on the NCAA First Four. I'm bummed for that. The big hoopla. They do a fantastic job. We've worked with them for years. They're the organizing committee that helps put on, the First Four every single year. And it's beyond just the First Four games. I mean, it goes on into the community. There's a lot of community events, the STEM Challenge, everything that they do. It's taken something like the NCAA First Four and really engraved the community within the happenings of that, which is, they do a fantastic job. So I feel bad for them. But overall, for me, selfishly as a fan, it's really not going to impact that because, like I said, we're going to be watching the games from home anyways, if there are games. So keep that in mind. I think that's a big step, though, for the NCAA because I think they've been very stubborn. They're sitting back right now. I think they're learning their lesson from football where they've just basically, their egos have basically put them in a position where they're like, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. You talked about Ohio State earlier. They already had a game with Maryland canceled. No room to make it up. Mm-hmm. Now, there has been talks over the weekend. I think it was the Big 12 on Friday. You and I were off on Friday talking about really urging the NCAA college football or urging the college football playoff committee to pushing back the playoff. Mm-hmm. To allow all these teams and programs to have time to make up games that they've missed and to make sure that everyone, that we close the gap on the competitive balance as much as we possibly can to be able to get as clear a picture of resumes to make sure we pick the 4 best teams possible. The problem with that is we already, even with amongst all the chaos, Kev, we know it's going to be Alabama. We know it's going to be Clemson. We know it's going to be Ohio State. Now, I say that knowing Ohio State could lose to Indiana and trip up against Michigan. Clemson could lose to Notre Dame a second time. Mm-hmm. Alabama, Mac Jones can get hurt and they lose a couple games. So I know anything can happen, David. But we know right now that even amongst all the chaos, there is not a scenario that's presenting itself that would not have presented itself on a regular non-COVID season. Like if there was no COVID this year, it would still be Alabama. It would still be Clemson. It would still be Ohio State. So that's where I'm like, don't create more work than you have to unless there is a scenario that presented itself that, oh, man, because of COVID, this program didn't have a fair shot. Because there's only 3 guarantees right now, and I know there's always avenues that they can miss it, but there are only 3 teams that on a regular non-COVID season would be in and are still in right now, even during this COVID season, unless something crazy happens where Clemson has another breakout and Trevor Lawrence misses more games. Ohio State misses 3 straight games and is not even eligible for the Big Ten title game. If something like that happens, I'm all for making some kind of changes. But right now, even with amongst all the chaos, Kev, everything is still kind of shaping up to be exactly what it would be without, COVID just totally derailing the season.
I think that I understand what they're trying to say about, trying to equal the competitive advantage. Let's play these games out. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I get them and I totally understand that. But and the other side of it, I'm a proponent of let's get this over with before things really get bad. That's what I'm about, because not only thinking about COVID, but thinking about, player safety and everything like that. And not of the fact of like, oh man, you might catch COVID playing football. Think about the safety of players that are actually playing football. We have so many guys that are going to start opting out of playing these games because they have nothing else to play for. So just say there's a first round caliber offensive tackle on, Georgia's roster or whatever. And now they've lost 2 games. They're out of contention for the national championship. He opts out. And then they go throw a true freshman in there. And the quarterback gets blindsided and blasted and super hurt. A kid that had no business being out there in the first place is out there playing football. I'm a proponent of let's try to get as many games as we can in a allotted time and get the championship crown and try to see if we can start next season on time. I don't necessarily think like we should be drawing it out to play more games. If they postpone it, I'm saying postpone it to make sure the teams that are eligible for the college football playoff are at their healthiest, meaning no one has COVID. Like I would be a proponent of delaying the championship games if there's outbreaks
amongst one of the teams.
Yeah,
one of the playoff teams.
Yeah, all right. So say all right, the Final Four is set. It's whatever teams you want to throw in there, and freaking Friday before the games, Team Z has an outbreak. I'm for postponing the game to have them eligible to play at their full strength. Like, I don't think that would be, I know people would be like, oh man, that's the way it goes in the COVID year. But I just totally think that would be unfair. Like, this is something new. This isn't something we've ever had to deal with before. So I'm a proponent of that. I'm not necessarily a proponent of stretching out the season so people can play more games and collect more money. I'm a proponent of, hey, if there's a breakout with the teams that are playing in the national championship game or the semifinals games, all right, man, maybe we need to wait a week or two so we can have a full game and have a best matchup that we all want to see.
And I tell you what, I'll meet you halfway on this. I'm not a fan of announcing now that we're pushing back the playoff. I am a fan of finishing this out, getting to the Final Four for the college football playoff, and then making sure that you get the 4 best versions of those teams.
Yeah.
So don't push back the playoff now. Push back the playoff if one of the 4 teams that makes the college football playoff has an outbreak and say, hey, we're going to push it back a little. Now, I don't think that's realistic from a standpoint of what's the contract like with the stadiums and with, what's, the TV deals. And, there will be attendance for some of these, I would assume. There's attendance at games now.
Right.
So I think there's just a lot of moving parts here, but a lot of the moving parts are, it's new to the NCAA for how they're handling it because they waited till now to decide how to do it. This was the flaw in allowing every conference to act independently. And to be fair, there's really not a governing body that could tell them otherwise.
Right.
Like they're like, we're mad saying, well, the NCAA should have done this. Technically, because of the power that they've given to these respective conferences, it's done purposely. Like every conference has its commissioner that is the acting governor of their entire conference body. They don't get to make decisions for the, other NCAA programs as a whole. So it's just been a flawed mess. I really hope that the only thing that I hope this changes about the NCAA moving forward is that they somehow find a way to be able to have some kind of some kind of task force or whatever that acts on behalf of all college athletics and athletics teams and conferences, because right now this has just been an absolute fill-in-the-blank non-FCC approved show. Like, it's unbelievable.
It's exactly what you guys were talking about earlier. It's egos, a lot of egos involved. Egos from the Big Ten saying, all right, if we say we're not playing, everybody's going to fall in line. And boom, egg on your face. We're not going to call the season. We're going to continue to push forward. And then Big Ten has to recant and try to get their season back on. Oh, Pac-12 or the Big Ten playing, okay, yeah, we can play now too.
Yep.
Oh, then the MAC was like, well, shoot, everybody else playing, I guess we should play too. Like it's a, it's an ego thing, and I don't see these big money people putting their ego aside and putting their pride and the flex of their money to side. The Big Ten gladly flaunts that they bring in the most revenue for their schools. The SEC gladly flaunts that it means more. These commissioners flaunt that stuff. They want people to know that we're the most powerful league, everything like that. It's a lot of egos involved. But I will say, the players are asked to be flexible. The coaches are asked to be flexible in a COVID year. I would imagine that the NCAA and the championship would be flexible as well.
Yeah. And by the way, and I'm getting a lot of people messaging in saying, hey, by the way, there's too many egos. I'm acknowledging that there are egos, but at a certain point, Mark Emmert, someone has to step up and say, the hell with all your egos. Like this didn't work. Like if they get by, and they've gotten by to this point, the last I checked, there's been over 66 postponements total. I mean, I don't even know what week it is for college football. Yeah. I think it's like 10.
It don't
10.
matter.
So, I mean, let's say it's week 10 and there's like 66. So you're averaging 6 postponements a week.
Yeah.
That's kind of a lot. Okay. That's kind of a lot. But I'm not going to overreact to that only because, hey, you are playing during a pandemic. But I'm also not going to overreact because, to me, I have mentally prepared myself heading in saying, hey, because of the lack of leadership throughout this entire process, this was the result that we were most likely going to get. And to be fair, I actually think we're doing better than what we should be doing, considering the lack of leadership and the lack of proper protocols that were put in place. I'm not talking about testing protocols. I'm talking about scheduling protocols. I'm talking about makeup games times at the end. We ripped the SEC, but you know what? They were smart enough to say, hey, we know that there's going to be games moved and postponed. That's why we have two weeks at the end that we're making up all these games. So that's why they're not overreacting. However, when you had 4 games in 1 week, that could be a little worrisome, because then when you have teams who need to make up more than one game, that's where it starts backpiling a little bit as far as that goes. Now, other news for college athletics here. How about this? This will impact your Syracuse Orange.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Boeheim of Syracuse Orange tests positive for COVID-19 as part of our routine COVID-19. And again, Jim Boeheim tested positive. He announced this on Sunday. He said, as part of our routine COVID-19 health and safety protocols, I, along with my team and staff, are tested for COVID multiple times each week. He goes on in his statement released on Twitter saying, following our most recent testing, I was informed that I had tested positive. I immediately began my isolation period at home. I am not experiencing any symptoms at this time and will continue to monitor my health closely as advised by the medical staff. Thank you for the well wishes. I look forward to getting back on the court with my team. So there's that. Again, he's 76 years old.
Yeah.
He's 76 years old. He's actually going to turn 76 tomorrow. He'll turn 76 tomorrow. So again, is the second Hall of Fame college basketball coach to test positive in the past week. Remember, Tom Izzo last week tested positive as well. So that's interesting. Now on Facebook, by the way, search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. You can watch along. David Shaw says he asked about the possibility of May Madness. Well, it's funny you bring that up because, it's funny. This is why I don't like Rick Pitino. For instance, like Rick Pitino right now is calling for a new start date in May Madness. Rick Pitino says, save the season. Move the start back, play league schedule, and have May Madness. Spiking in protocols make it impossible to play right now. Well, Ricky, if you weren't, denying strippers being passed around to your team, all right, you would be at a Power 5 conference right now who you would have more resources and you would feel a lot more confident about being able to start the season on time. But because you're a snake, you left college basketball for a while and you had to come back to the bottom to go to play at Iona, which, by the way, isn't the bottom of it's a nice market to coach in if you're that. But Rick Pitino takes over at Iona. Here's why I don't like him. Because this is a scenario where he is only crying and trying to be a proponent for the voice of being the voice of the voiceless because he's living in their world now. Mm-hmm. If he was a coach at Louisville, I'm not saying that the virus isn't impacting those Power 5 conferences, but he wouldn't be as adamant about having May Madness. because he would be in a conference that would have the money and resources to test on a more regular basis, that would be able to put them in position to be able to get games into the non-con. He's at Iona. They don't have as many resources. They're kind of you know what I mean? So now he's panicking and freaking out because he's in a situation that had he not been a bonehead to begin with, he would be at a much bigger program, wouldn't have to be worrying about the same things that some of these smaller schools are. So that's why I'm like, be quiet. Be quiet. Like, stop. I mean, I get it. He's concerned. Now, I also, at the same time as being annoyed with them, kind of agree with them. I like the idea of May Madness if it means getting the NCAA tournament in. And if there's a May Madness, all right, we haven't said a March Madness. You have all of April off and there's May. If you get a May Madness in, for one, it has a nice ring to it still. Yeah. You still get your little marketing ploy there. Oh, May Madness, you know. I mean, think about this. We just had the Masters over the weekend.
Yeah.
How freaking cool was that to have that in the fall? It'll never happen again.
Let's hope not.
If I don't know how many, I don't, obviously nobody went to the Masters, so forget that I was even going in that direction. No one was able to go. But imagine, I mean, for those, like for the media that was able to cover that, like I was listening to stories over the weekend where they were buying, you know, all the media members that were there were making sure that they racked up as many items for that as possible, because in the history of the Masters, you'll never see it in the fall again.
Right.
You will never see it in the fall again. Well, it's kind of like this. Like if college is smart, they can market this like crazy. There will never be May Madness again. This will be like 20 years from now. We'll look back and remember the pandemic that forced March Madness, for one, to cancel the first year and then to move it to May Madness the next year. I'm all for it if it means us getting, if the 2 extra months of preparation for May Madness gives us more regular season games and more safer regular season games and gives us more of a regular feel to a postseason for college basketball. I'm all for it. If moving it to May might, you know, give more time to allow fans to be at the games, great. If it allows more teams to be in the tournament, great. If it puts them in a position where they don't have to shrink it down from 68 to, you know, lesser rounds, great. I'm all for May Madness. I'm just not all for, you know, Rick Pitino acting like he cares about the masses when that's not true. He only cares about the masses when it benefits him. And when it doesn't benefit him, he's just as quiet like all the other Power 5 coaches are being at this point.
And add this to it. A lot of guys that are in college that are one and done guys, they're not sticking around until May. They're not sticking around 2 semesters in college. They're there to play basketball. They're not there to go to school and all that type of stuff. You know, they're there. The one and done guys are there to play in the tournament, show off their skills, up their draft stock. They're not there to do that. I'm just being honest.
All right, 457-9464. We will open those phone lines back up. I'm getting some news in here about the NFL. I'm going to touch on that here in a minute. Don Roberts, thank you for passing that along. Let's talk some college football. We've been trying to get into college football, but I just wanted to touch on those couple stories right there. You know, for college basketball, just because so much happened over the weekend. But I like the idea. By the way, I'm all for the NCAA tournament being in one centralized location. I'm not okay with that moving forward. What I love about the NCAA tournament is how spread out throughout the country it is. Mm-hmm. The entire world, the entire country gets to experience March Madness in some capacity. You know, even here, if all we get is the first 4, I'm telling you what, you know, it used to be like, if you think like, for instance, UD's scheduling philosophy right now, getting Bellarmine on the schedule. That, I mean, it used to be 4 Bellarmines. Like, I mean, it used to be 8 Bellarmines on the schedule. You have 4 Bellarmines on the schedule for the first 4. Now there's legit teams there. Yeah. You know, you have your 16 seeds, yes, but I love the incorporation of the 11 and the 12 seeds. It's still sold out. Still people all the way up to the top of UD Arena. You know, by the way, the renovations for the arena, which is disappointing because they haven't been able to display the renovations. That's what I feel bad. I mean, UD's arena is absolutely, it's an NBA arena. Like everyone that goes, and trust me, everyone that's listening has been to a UD game. It's an NBA arena, and they have yet to be able to put that on display for the NCAA tournament. I feel bad about that. Like, that's horrible. But like, it's a great experience. But you know what? I'm fine with giving it up for a year if it means guaranteeing a shot of getting the tournament in. Head to Indianapolis, have all the games there, do what you got to do. Let's dance in March. At home, social distance, masks on. Right?
Got to.
Yeah. I mean, man, this could be a crazy week. I don't know what changes are coming, but changes are coming.
Storms
with everything going on. So I'll try to remain as positive as possible. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. I don't even know what's going on. I have 4 messages all asking to hear the 30 for 30 again. We could do the 30, not now, when we come back.
Okay.
For those of you who missed it earlier, we ran our ESPN 30 for 30, the Gem City Jam edition. basically calling out the Dayton Flyers for why is it okay to schedule Bellarmine but not the Wright State Raiders. Wright State has another game that they're looking to fill. They have another date that they're looking to fill. They have room for one more game. UD, all you hear from them is, how tough it is to schedule games. Well, guess what? You have a team 12 miles away that needs an opponent. Swallow your pride, UD. Come on. The Gem City Jam, ESPN 30 for 30. We have that coming up, plus college football. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks. $29.99 each you 4 pounds of freaking chicken chunks. We'll get the 4 sauces too. We'll get the 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. 4 sauces too. Freaking chicken chunks.
Ring in the season with 4 pounds of freaking chicken chunks. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 freaking bonus bucks free. The ho home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is Frickers.
Freaking chicken chunks, 4 sauces too. Freaking chicken chunks, 4 freaking pounds. Chicken chunks.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
At the Home Depot, get Black Friday pricing now through December on great gift ideas for any doer on your list, like a Ryobi Impact Drill Driver Kit for just $99. Was $129. Save on top tools, appliances, the latest in smart home tech, even holiday decor to light up the living room or bring joy to the neighborhood. Black Friday savings, in-store, online, store-wide. Gift giving, improved. From the Home Depot, how doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
It's auction time again in North Lima, Ohio with home improvement products and building materials, and it's all online, ending this Tuesday at 12 noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products online. Kitchens, flooring, Anderson windows and doors, decking, unclaimed freight, and more, all sold online at pbauctions.com. Auction ends this Tuesday at noon, so we'll see you online at the auction.
At Meadowbrook at Clayton, our state-of-the-art golf simulators are ready for play. Book your tee times now and get our special rate of $15 per half hour for up to 4 people per simulator. Here's your chance to play some of the great golf courses around the world, including Kiawah Island, Harbortown, and Spain's Valderrama. Weekday and weekend hours are available, and safe prepackaged snacks and drinks are only steps away. Go online to meadowbrookatclayton.com for details. Everyone is welcome, so call and reserve your times now.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Cleveland State women's basketball coach Chris Kilsmeyer, COVID survivor.
I was fatigued, just like every other basketball coach in March, but didn't think about getting sick. I woke up one night with the worst pains and chills I'd ever experienced. I tested positive for coronavirus and immediately self-quarantined. I got worse and worse and checked into the hospital. Multiple times I said, I don't want to die. We know what works. We know how to fight this, but it's going to take all of us doing the right thing every single day.
Sponsored by the Ohio Hospital Association.
Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Gather together with friends and family. It's Skyline time.
There's something about a Skyline three-way that makes me crave it. The chili, cheese, and spaghetti blend together perfectly. Just talking about it is making me hungry. Guess I'm going to Skyline today.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration.
You really
turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles, base coverages only. Availability varies.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Ring AM. All right, so over the weekend, number 7 Cincinnati, Friday night, number 7 Cincinnati 55-17 over East Carolina. Now, again, East Carolina's 1-6, so is what it is. But the fallout from that game really came. I mean, that game, the fallout from that game really, dominated a lot of coverage over the weekend because Cincinnati, they went for it late in that game with 55-17. Like I think, what did they do? Did they do a fake punt?
Punt. Yeah,
fake punt. Got the first down. They were up big. And, of course, that led to the head coach for East Carolina being really pissed off about it. Of course, him and Luke Fickell have a little exchange afterwards, and they had a long meet afterwards, and we're kind of going back and forth. It didn't escalate or anything like that, but you could tell that, the coach for East Carolina was, like, letting his, frustrations be known. Here's the deal with this. And everyone knows I don't defend Cincinnati anything. I'm on Cincinnati's side on this. You have no choice. If you're Luke Fickell, because you're trying to shut guys like me up, you're trying to shut guys like anyone that has doubt in the Bearcats, you have to do this. Because I know this sounds crazy, but if I have a resume in front of me, if I'm part of the College Football Playoff Committee and I'm looking at a resume, I know this sounds crazy, but 48-17, it's good. But 50 scoring, the 50s are this magic number. Like the year that Ohio State made it to the college football playoff, the inaugural college football playoff, won the national championship that year. We've talked about this a million times. Beating Wisconsin did not get them into the college football playoff. Destroying Wisconsin got them into the college football playoff. It's not about winning. Winning is not good enough. Winning is not good enough. It is about, okay, you can't help who you have on your schedule sometimes. Fair. Ohio State can't help that the Big Ten has been garbage, all right? And this year, you're supposed to have strong Michigan teams, strong Penn State teams. You're supposed to have, Michigan State should be better than what they are. Maybe not this year, but it's a program that should not be going through the issues that they're going through right now. I like Mel Tucker, but had D'Antoni done what the job he was supposed to do, we wouldn't be in this spot to begin with. The Big Ten should be better, but Ohio State can't help that. So what Ohio State has to do is they can't do the trestle ball approach where, all right, we're up 28-7 and there's 4 minutes left. Let's just no. There's 4 minutes left. You better make it 35-7. You better make it 42-7. You better do everything in your power because you're playing bad opponents that the committee's not going to respect. You got to make sure that you are convincing that committee that, hey, we played a bad team, but we put 50 up on them. And look at the gap in the score. We clearly show that we are significantly better than these bad teams. Number 7, Cincinnati. They are 7-0 on the year, 55-17 over East Carolina. I promise you, when the committee is looking at their resume, that 50 burger is going to get their attention way more than 47. It's only 8 more points. But that 8 more points that put the Bearcats in the 50s is a huge deal. It keeps you in that conversation because it's very important that you destroy teams like East Carolina if you're Cincinnati. Like, had they won 21-17 or if they won, by a field goal of 24-21, they may be still 7-0, but I'm dropping them out of the top 10 completely. Like, I'm telling you, like, that matters. Like that, and people have that same mindset. Last year, Clemson, who was undefeated all the way up into the national title game, they beat North Carolina 21-20 because North Carolina, who had a chance to tie it like to go into overtime, they just went for the 2-point conversion. Clemson, as bad as the defense was, they ended up, coming through and holding them off, and they only won by 1. Right. And everyone, you would have thought that people wanted them out of college football altogether because they only beat North Carolina by 1. Well, guess what? That matters. Style points matter. I have no problem with Luke Fickell doing that. And I don't care if East Carolina has a problem with it, then they just don't understand the times that we're living in sports. I just don't get it.
It's been like that. It's been like that since the days of Spurrier back at Florida, running up the score and basically saying that, I wouldn't have to run up the score if y'all actually watch the game. And that's what me as a person, I have to come to grips with that, the average person doesn't watch as much college football as I do, especially in a time like now. Like, I'm watching tons of college football because I'm not leaving the house, but that's a story for another day. I watched a ton of college football and I watched basically that entire UC game. They had the game in control, and that's where these metrics come into play. I'm a basher of all these metrics and all this stuff is stupid. I don't need the stat to tell me that this team is good. But you know what, Kevin? Other people do. Other people need these numbers to back up what I'm telling them. I could be telling them so I'm blue in the face, but a tangible piece of paper with these numbers on it tells them the story. So you're right. Blowouts happen.
Yep.
Running up the score happens. And like my high school coach used to tell me, hey, you don't want them dancing on your field? Keep them out the end zone. You don't want to get blown out? Make a tackle. Like, it's just as simple as that when it comes to the East Carolina coach complaining and everything like that. And as far as Fickell, he's got to do what he's got to do to put his team and his players in the best position to get them as far as they can. If it is the college football playoff, great. If it's, oh, man, we didn't make it, but guess what? We're playing so-and-so from this big conference in a New Year's Six bowl game. Let's show them who we are. Wherever they're going to go this season, he has to put them in the best position for them to succeed and to build confidence. And to be perfectly honest, they're working on stuff. They're putting more stuff on tape for the other coaches to worry about. So just like we were talking about with Rutgers last week, with them running every trick play in the book, their other opponents, they got to worry about them running a trick play. Now we got to spend 30 minutes working on, hey, man, now if he lines up here, make sure you keep aware for the trick play. You got to waste practice time on trick plays. And UC is doing the exact same thing for their upcoming opponents and potential opponents in the future. So I commend UC. I hope they can continue to win. As far as a blowout, hey, man, deal with it.
Yeah, and let's be clear, because I feel like I'm a little hard on Luke Fickell.
You are.
I am. But you know what? I give him credit. I think he was tougher in this situation than Ryan Day was against Nebraska. Because Ryan Day was so soft against Nebraska after I'm really sorry for scoring against you guys late. I didn't mean to. Please forgive me. Signed, Buckeye coach Ryan Day. Bite me. Don't, like, that was soft of Ryan Day to apologize.
He's never coming on the show.
Oh, shocker. Him and Anthony Grant have a club. All right. They have a club. I won't do that show. That's fine. That's fine. No, but let's be serious here. Ryan Day apologized after for doing that against Nebraska. Let's be clear. We all were looking at the 24-14 score at halftime against Nebraska saying, what's going on right now? You're up double digits. You're up at halftime. You're winning. It's a division. It's a conference game. It's a Big Ten game. But we have expectations for Ohio State to blow everyone out of the water. I mean, we talk about it all the time. What we love about Ohio State is what we hate as well. For me, I love that they are so dang good that they have blowouts in the first quarter of every game. But I also hate that because then we don't get good football games. So I hate it's a double-edged sword. But we didn't get that against Nebraska. They were up by 10 at halftime. We're like, oh man, we know Nebraska's not that good.
Good enough.
It's Frost. He's in year 3, I believe. Okay, Nebraska's should be taking a decent step forward, but they shouldn't be taking a step forward enough to where they should be within a possession or two of Ohio State. 2 quarters in. So what do we start doing? Oh man, what's going on? Man, I'm uncomfortable here. So it's week 1. We're seeing other teams get upset. That's what we do. So Ryan Day, he needed to add that extra point at the end. And he may not have viewed it that way, but the thing is he needed to just to make sure that he put any doubt away. If anyone's saying, oh, man, they were playing that a little closer than I'm comfortable with. Good job, Luke Fickell, for not backing down too. And by the way, didn't try to run away from the guy here. He goes, if I get COVID trying to argue to you why I'm fine with taking a fake punt, I'm big on you. You know what? More power to you. Good for Luke Fickell. Good for the Bearcats. That win doesn't do anything for me. They did what they're supposed to do. They're beating up on bad teams. It is what it is. But again, if you're going to beat bad teams, beat bad teams. Beat them convincingly because we expect the same thing out of Ohio State. So I'm expecting the same thing out of the Bearcats. So there you go. But I thought that was an interesting takeaway from what happened over the weekend.
A lot of good football, a lot of bad football, too. I mean, that Wisconsin-Michigan game, did you watch any of that?
Why would I do that to myself? No, I did not, actually. By the way, real quick, keep going. We'll get to this.
I wanted to see Wisconsin after 3 weeks off. I wanted to see what they were going to be like. And I wanted to actually see the quarterback, Graham Mertz, because I didn't see their first game.
Oh, he was spectacular in that first game, yeah.
I missed it. I forget what I was doing, but I didn't see that game. All I saw was the final score. So I really wanted to see him because of all the hype and everything, and then them being out for 3 weeks with COVID and everything like that. And I was blown away, and this is bad on my part because I'm normally in the credit-giving business. I want to give Wisconsin a lot of credit for handling their business and beat Michigan by 38 points. But I was just blown away from the fact that Michigan got blown out like that, man. Got blown out like that. And I started to think to myself, and I know a lot of Michigan fans will be like, yo, fire Harbaugh, fire Don Brown. Don Brown's stupid. And I was a person saying that a couple weeks ago about saying the man-to-man defense and the aggressive style of defense. And then I started thinking to myself, like, hold on. Just a couple years ago, that aggressive defense had them 4th and 1 away from potentially playing for the national championship. Yeah. So, we were a JT Barrett lean away from seeing Michigan beat Ohio State. So then I started to think, where are the Rashawn Garys? Where are the Taco Charltons? Where are the Devin Bushes? Where is Dayton's own Mike McCray? Where is Jordan Lewis, who plays for the Cowboys now? Where's Peppers? Where are the type of athletes like that? Because I can't believe that Don Brown, in all the years that he's been coaching football, has forgot how to coach football. So I'm going to say that it's a combination of both. I'm going to say that Don Brown isn't able to communicate what he's trying to implement on his defense to these players, and these players aren't what they're cracked up to be.
Yep.
So I think it's a combination of both. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not tapped into the team all like that. But just from watching it, I don't see impact players like those guys that I named. All those guys I named are in the NFL making plays. They made plays in college. They're making plays in the NFL.
Who's the guy in the Patriots that played for them last year? He looked like Buzz from.
Oh, yeah.
I call him Buzz because I can't remember his name now. Shaw, help us out.
I forgot his name, but he made plays last night for the New England Patriots.
Yep. But he does look like Buzz from Home Alone.
I know you're Minovich.
There we go. It's not Minovich. It's something like that.
I don't want to disrespect him by jacking up his name, but
Winovich,
yes.
Winovich.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
You know what
dudes.
disrespectful? I had a rhyming word with his name last year. That was disrespectful. That I won't use on the air.
So that's 7 starters. All those dudes started for Michigan at one point in time. Like, I think all these dudes were like on that same defense, if I'm not mistaken. Where are the athletes? I can't believe that Don Brown is like 80 years old and he can't coach anymore. I'm sorry, I can't believe that.
Well, it's not that he can't coach him, it's about the recruiting, though.
That's what I'm saying. So is it they're not but hold on, but remember John Harbaugh was out here taking his shirt off, sleeping in clubhouses to get recruits. All these, you know what I'm saying? And you know me, I'm not the big recruiting guy. I'm like, well, get to campus and show me type of guy. But from everything we read on our Twitter timeline and this guy's a 4-star, this is a 5-star, Ohio State better watch out for this guy, this, that, and the third. Michigan's bring it into top 5 class. What's going on? It's as simple as that.
Urban Meyer leaving the Big Ten just takes some urgency with him. Who knows? Like, you would think that Urban Meyer leaving the Big Ten, that guys like James Franklin and Harbaugh would have set their game up and said, okay, he's gone. It's our turn now. That's no disrespect to Ryan Day, but Ryan Day is just still trying to establish who he is. Like, you know, so there you go.
So could it, so then I started racking my brain. Could it all be that it's like what I've been thinking about, where when you lose 2 games, dudes just totally check out now? Could it be that? But then I started thinking, hold on. These guys have aspirations of playing in the NFL, and the eye in the sky don't lie. So whatever you're putting on the field, that's what the NFL scouts are looking at. So you're not going to make it to the NFL playing like that. So, and this isn't just a Michigan thing. This is a Penn State thing. This is a Florida State thing. This is name your big time program or big time brand name program who isn't playing up to snuff. So any team you can plug into this scenario. Is it truly that, all right, man, we're out of contention for what we're trying to accomplish this year? We're not playing hard? Is it the fact that, you know, the coaches aren't communicating with the players, or these players just ain't good enough?
Yeah, you know, and keep in mind, too, like, so look at how Indiana plays for Tom Allen, by the way. Like, so that you could tell when you watch Tom Allen's interaction with his team on the side, like, they'll run through a brick wall for him.
Yeah.
And I used to feel like that about Michigan and Harbaugh. I used to feel like, as much as I couldn't stand that team, I respected them because you just felt like those guys, like, they had Harbaugh's back, Harbaugh had their back.
That 16 team was real.
Now I'm like, oh, definitely. That was the best one. I mean,
all these dudes was on the 16 team.
That was, and this is why, you know, I don't get all jacked up for the Michigan game anymore, because even at the beginning stages of the Harbaugh era, the Michigan-Ohio State game was a college football playoff game.
Yes.
The winner of that game would go on to the college football playoff. Forget the Big Ten title game, because technically, yes, they would go on to the Big Ten title game. But the winner of that game, had Michigan won that game, they're in the college football playoff, regardless of what happens in the Big Ten title game after that. I'm not saying that they could have gotten smoked, but you see my point. Beating Ohio State, that would have been their ticket in, regardless of what happened in the Big Ten. That was a college football playoff game. Now it's just we overhype the history of the rivalry. Ohio State, Michigan, the best rivalry in all of sports. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. Clemson, give me Clemson. Forget Harbaugh, forget Michigan. This is cute. This was back when half the time we had to focus on this because we really didn't know if we were good enough to win a national championship. Now we know we're good enough every damn year to win a national championship. Michigan, if you want to keep, you know, again, it's not. They are worried about that rivalry, but I'm just saying, like, it's just one of those words. To me, I just don't get as jacked for that matchup as I used to, period.
I still get jacked just because I remember the Tim Biaka-Batuka game where he ran for 300-plus yards and basically got drafted off that game.
Yep.
But the Jim Harbaugh Ohio State thing, be it versus Ryan Day or versus Herb, you know what? Gus Malzahn ain't half the coach that Nick Saban is, but Gus Malzahn wins every once in a while. They won last year. You know what I'm saying? So for anybody that says like, oh man, Gus Malzahn sucks or whatever, he at least beats his rival every once in a while. So Jim Harbaugh isn't doing that. So that's a problem. And I'm not like Kurt Herbstreit out here like, man, I want Michigan to be good. because, it's better when Michigan good. To be perfectly honest, I could care less, but it's just alarming that they're that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I root for two teams in college football, Ohio State and Florida State. One's great, one sucks, and I'm not a conference guy either. I don't be like pulling out my, freaking Northwestern pom-poms when they're playing Vanderbilt. I could care less who wins that game, unless it's a kid from Ohio on their team. I want him to play pretty good football. But it is quite alarming that Gus Malzahn is able to beat Nick Saban and Harbaugh is unable to beat Herb and has yet to beat Ryan Day. That is quite alarming.
Yeah, and, it's going to get ugly. Remember how we joked about, little off-season banter? Ryan Day saying he wanted to put 100 up on Michigan.
I'm standing strong, man. That's no.
I said that too. I'm staying. I'm sticking to this like you stick to your Indiana take. Ohio State. I don't think they're going to get 100 on them, but I think they're going to get in the 80s.
I hate to say this.
They're going to get in the 80s.
They'll get in the 60s.
68 to 75.
60. If
75, 79, 75, 80, 85, 85, 90, 95.
If Duke don't start turning around for the ball, they'll definitely get in the 70s.
Because I feel like Michigan this year is not going to play to win. They're going to play not to get embarrassed. And that can only go on for so long before Ohio State just, Ohio State's mindset is going to be, I don't know what the future of the college football playoff holds for us. But damn it, if the season ends today, we're putting 80 up on this damn team. I think 80 is that high reach. 100, that would be great. That'd be fantastic. But 80 is a very real number that I think Ohio State can get to. Think about 3 touchdowns a quarter.
Nah. I say
so 75.
60.
They put, which is so funny because they put like 75 up on Miami of Ohio last year. After being down 5-0.
Wasn't that like a defensive score too?
No, by the way, it was like 75 to whatever to 5. And they literally called the game lightning. There was a storm and lightning hit. And they went to call the delay, and both teams just said, "Nah, screw it, we're done." They literally called the game with like 4 or 5 minutes left.
We're good.
It was 75 to 5 or 74 to 5, whatever it was. It was 70 something to 5. I think it was 72. It doesn't matter. 70 something to 5. Lightning struck. They had to do the lightning delay, and both Miami of Ohio and Ohio State just said, "Yeah, we're good." On to next week. That's how bad. We could be talking about that with Michigan here in a few weeks. Can you believe that right now, because the season was pushed back, it should be Michigan week here in like 2 weeks?
Oh my goodness.
I think it's pretty crazy. All right. For you Dayton Flyers, Wright State Raiders fans out there, we're sending you out with this.
It was 76 to
76. I hit every damn number in the freaking
76 to 5.
So Ohio State went on a 76-0 run. Good for them.
Goodness, UNLV couldn't do it any better.
All right, folks, we're sending you out with this. That my latest, and by the way, someone messaged, I've had 3 or 4 people ask if it's on YouTube yet. It's going to be on YouTube here. Search ESPN Dayton on YouTube and like and subscribe to the ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. We put all of our content on there, as well as some of these cool features we do, like the ESPN 30 for 30s. Yes, some of them taken as I'm trolling people, whatever. Stop being soft. Have fun. Here's my latest ESPN 30 for 30 on the Gem City Jam.
What if I told you that it's been 23 years since the Dayton Flyers last played the Wright State Raiders? That only 13 miles separate the schools, but it's certain egos that widen the gap.
The number one reason why that matchup doesn't happen, in your opinion, is what?
I think ego and lack of common sense.
Simple enough. We agree.
Is that simple?
What if I told you that the Flyers would rather play Bellarmine? Wait. Who the hell's Bellarmine?
Voice guy, you can't just stop in the middle of a 30 for 30 masterpiece that I created to ask a question. Now I'm going to answer it for you. Bellarmine is a brand new Division I school out of Louisville. All right. Does that answer your question? Now get back to the promo read. Come on. That's what we're paying you for.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Bellarmine. Sheesh. What if I told you that if Dayton is as great as they say they are, then fearing a loss to the Wright State Raiders should not be a concern?
Wright State does not bring anything to the table, Justin.
Oh, really? And Bellarmine does. What do they bring, Mikey? Please. Well, here, I'm going to get out my pen. Hold on. All right. I have my paper.
UD.
It's ESPN's latest 30 for 30. Prove you're not afraid of the Raiders and bring back the Gem City champ. Produced by Justin Kinner. Coming this, well, whenever Dayton decides to, I guess.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.